What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. If you're listening to this podcast, it is likely Wednesday, September 7th. We're going to talk some awards stuff. We've got a Tuesday mailbag podcast that is in your feed too, which you may have already listened to. We're sort of traveling forwards in time, but then backwards in time. It's a real DeLorean conundrum, as they say in the time travel business. But this is all on YouTube on Tuesday afternoon. If you want to, you can watch us every day at 1 p.m. ish, thereabouts on YouTube for the rest of eternity. Although the rest of eternity feels a lot less daunting when it's the freaking NFL season kickoff week. Joining me to bake some bets on NFL NFL futures, the award market. Ryan Wilson and John Breech. Hello, fellas.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm less excited about the start of the NFL season. College football's already started. And I'm more excited about my one last chance to take a shot at Dave Richards. No more tweets about how many weeks until the start of the season. So win all around.
There you go. That's right. Breech, you excited?
And I am excited because I'm going to look like Ryan Wilson soon, according to Ryan Wilson. I've been doing this so long that I went from having a model set of hair that I am heading toward Wilson territory.
I do love that Breech gets a stylish haircut literally days after we have our photo shoot.
Yeah, why did you do that?
He looked like a hobo at the photo shoot, and now he looks like he could actually apply for a
Honestly,
job.
Up high, down hard. It looks like a hobo at the photo shoot.
What's wrong with hobos' haircuts? Wilson out here just ripping on people to start the podcast. Hobos. Not a great way to start.
I don't know where to go from
hobo haircut.
Hobo haircut, yeah. Like you said Breech dressed like a hobo for our big photo shoot.
No, I said his hair looked like a hobo.
Right.
He dressed quite nicely.
Speaking of hobos, you know who's not a hobo? The person who's going to win MVP. That was like my segue. We don't have to use it though. We can do something else.
Football season is finally almost here. Finally almost kind of messes me up. And CBS Sports Football Pick'em is the best way to step up the competition. Fun, run a custom picks or survivor pool with friends. And enter our CBS Sports Challenge for the chance to win a guaranteed weekly and season-long prizes, plus the $100,000 jackpot. Get started now at cbssports.com/play or from the More menu of the CBS Sports app. Once again, that's cbssports.com/play, Play, or go to your CBS Sports app, which you should be using. It's the best app there is. And you can just click the More button. You'll scroll all the way down. You see fantasy football pick'em. No purchase necessary. See rules for details.
Hey, you guys want to see something cool?
Oh, boy.
Yes.
So my wife is a teacher, and she teaches art, and her co-art teacher, her next door neighbor, who finds random crazy stuff. So she found this the other day, and not having seen something else, but it'll make sense. It's sort of funny. Look what I got.
Snoopy. Oh, it's an orange Snoopy. How cool is that?
An orange
What?
Snoopy.
I heard your husband got a tattoo of Snoopy on his right arm because he's going through a midlife crisis. Would he like the Snoopy figurine as well?
Right, exactly.
That's how that went down. Is that about right?
Midlife crisis is right.
Oh man,
It is kind of convenient that it's like your midlife crisis, your little midlife tattoo crisis, just kind of converge perfectly with work. It's like you got to have a midlife tattoo crisis that one was paid for by myself and listeners. You didn't have to spend it. You didn't have to go buy a motorcycle or anything. My dad.
Not yet.
And the thing is, if someone asked you how you got the tattoo, 3 minutes in the story, they'd be like, "I'm sorry, I asked. You're clearly having a midlife crisis." They wouldn't even want to hear the rest of the story because it's so long.
The chat is on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/pick6 has decided that Breech looks like Tintin.
I haven't seen the Netflix cartoon this show.
Did you remember the cartoon?
There's a newish one out last 5 or 6 years.
Just Google Tintin and then click
Okay,
it.
I guess instead of asking questions like an old person. Who was Tintin?
I mean, Tintin should have been your.
Oh my gosh, that Tintin.
Can you toss a picture of Tintin up, Debo, if you've got it available, just so we
it's
Breech, can you quaff the front of your hair up a little bit?
Bengal's orange hair is what you need, though.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, you are Tintin.
You are Tintin. Also,
where's that little dog? Where's that little fun-loving rapscallion dog of yours?
It's also like, is it Big Boys that has the same haircut? The guy in front of
the burger.
eatery? Yeah, Big Boys. There's Breech.
Look
turn profile pic, Breech.
I'm the Mexican version
There
of
it is.
Tintin.
There you go.
Yeah, you're like with this little like salt and pepper goatee that you've got going on.
He's actually, in terms of hair color, he's more Big Boys with the if he gets that curl going.
Well,
Usually-
it's really like basically the point is like if like 10, it's like if Tintin instead of like, you know,
was a serial killer
instead of continuing on the path of like, you know, helping to solve mysteries and help people.
Oh, is that what Tintin does?
Yeah. Essentially, Tintin. This is like Tintin Breaking Bad. Like Tintin is broken bad, and he's now like, oh god, yeah. It's like evil Tintin. It's like if Tintin went Tintin breaks bad. That's Breech.
Did you hear? I put the clip in our little chat channel. Did you hear Eminem talking about throwing a football at Lions practice?
40 yards.
No, he said exactly what is. I called him Breech. Basically, he says, you know, when you're throwing the football in the street, you can throw it for miles. To get on a real football field, the ball goes 10 yards.
Oh, right. That's Breech.
That's
yeah,
Breech.
exactly.
Breech like, I mean, I threw it 70 yards last weekend in the street. No, it's not.
Anyway, let's. I guess we can get to the somehow down a tin roof. Down a tin roof is something like that.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to.
Somebody's high.
I don't know. I don't know, man. No, I'm fine. The 2022 regular season. We'll start with the MVP.
It's a good place to start.
Good place to start. Do you want to give your pick?
I think you
well
guys
as your best bet, because I think those things vary differently. Like if I was, well, you know what? What do you think about the MVP, Wilson? I know there's probably somebody who's with terrible odds that you think is a good bet.
Yeah, let me ask you this: is Justin Herbert a best bet at plus 900? He's third on the list.
I think that's just a.
Yeah, okay, that's my pick, Justin Herbert. I'm going all in on Justin. Tom Brady, that's wasted money at plus 900 as well. I think that's. I just don't. Doesn't feel like Tom Brady's year. You know that it's a lot of danger in saying that out.
Never bitten anybody in the ass.
I know a lot of danger in saying that out loud. But here's my best bet. And Debo, get ready. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts at plus 3,000.
Wow, 30-1. Jalen Hurts.
If Jalen Hurts,
look who's creeped down to 30-1. Oh,
yeah, he's also in the conversation. You talking about your buddy Derek?
Trey Lance.
Yeah, gosh, come on. Derek Carr is actually another
going
one.
with Jalen Hurts though.
But Jalen Hurts, I mean, there are no excuses with the players around him. He can't blame Jalen Reagor anymore or J-Jaw. They're gone. So if he just plays consistently and he doesn't have to do everything, he can rack up some MVP votes with his legs in much the way that Lamar Jackson did a few years ago, and then make some big time throws. As Breech will tell you, you have to win the division in order to basically win this award, and they're going to win the division, I feel like. So the arrow's pointing up on the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. If he carries his weight and then does a little extra, I think he's a nice little bet here at 30-1.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I mean, I think when you're looking at this MVP market, you basically have to say, okay, you know, of the guys who are 10-1 or better, I mean, they're the favorites, but like, you know, Allen, Mahomes, Herbert. I actually think you can make the case that Allen at 6.5-1 or 7-1. I think anything under 6-1 is probably a little short, but like Josh Allen at 7-1 is not a crazy bet based on. Now, again, you got to put down, you know, like a full unit and a half if you really want to get, you know, the money back and versus like a long shot. But like, I really think that these voters, you know, people like Peter Prisco are just desperate, so desperate to give this award to Josh Allen. I think they would love nothing more in the world than to hand Josh Allen this award. And
yeah, but how often is it the case that the guy wins the award that shouldn't win it? That feels like it's pretty rare, right?
the favorite wins it. It hadn't happened very often lately.
No, but even a guy that was quote unquote the favorite at the beginning of the year, and he somehow backdoors it, even though 2 or 3 players outplayed him. I don't think that ever really happens.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like there's still so many outs where another guy could win it. Like Mahomes could easily win it. I mean, I think the two bets that stand out to me, Lamar Jackson at 20-1 is absolutely a bet. Look at the people. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson ahead of him. Lamar Jackson's won the award before. The Ravens could easily have a bounce back season. And if he has a monster year, 20-1 is really good value for him. I think to me, he should be closer to the 10-1 range.
How is Deshaun Watson at 8,000 to 1?
It makes no sense. I think they just haven't updated that. It's like a late, I guess. Like how he's playing 6 games. He's not going to win. He should be not on the list. Trey Lance and Jalen Hurts, 30-1 are probably too. It's just not a great price because you could have gotten for like 50-1 like earlier this offseason. But those two guys would be my 2 long shots that I would look at.
Jalen and who else? Trey Lance.
Jalen and Trey Lance. I just think you have the upside, the rushing equity. There's a lot of pieces around them
Right now, who has the better numbers?
I would think that Trey Lance might have the advantage in terms of
Really
ending with a better statistical season combo rushing and passing, only because I trust that offense to open up a little bit more than I would maybe the Eagles, who really got into like after a couple of weeks, Nick Sirianni adjusted and they became a run heavy team. So that would be my only reason for taking.
Yeah,
Trey
but
Lance.
you've seen Jalen Hurts play. We haven't seen a whole lot of Trey Lance. We don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
He could be John Breech out there.
I have a ton of both guys in fantasy where like I want, if you're drafting fantasy this week, just get Jalen Hurts. Trey Lance has tons of upside, but Jalen Hurts can have a terrible football game and still be a QB1. Like he did it 7 or 8 times last week.
Hey, Debo, are people jumping on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon? I thought I was being original here, but it sounds like people are waking up to JH. I just made that up.
No, I mean, the money speaks for itself. I saw our friends at Caesars today finally adjusted where the Eagles are now NFC East favorites at plus 130 and the Cowboys are at plus 135. So I think everybody's on the Eagles train. And if you're on the Eagles train, that means you're probably on the Jalen Hurts train.
Debo doesn't like all this recognition preseason.
Breech, what about you? You haven't said a word. You've been just staring at Joe Burrow's number.
Thinking about his hair. He's like, why did I get this haircut?
I'm listening to you guys talk. I don't want
to fix it.
Boom. I try to get a word. You guys just keep talking. So I was just going to let you finish everything you had to say. You know what? I was actually looking up to see how the preseason favorites did in the last 2 seasons. Aaron Rodgers in 2020, when he won his first MVP in this string, obviously he's won 4. He was nowhere near the favorite that year. He was 25-1. He was plus 2,500 going into the season. Patrick Mahomes was the favorite. Last year, Aaron Rodgers was 10-1 going into the season. Again, Patrick Mahomes was the favorite.
Well, remember in 2019 or 2018, Mahomes won, and he was a big-time long shot. RJ came out at 75-1 on this podcast. Lamar Jackson won in 2019, and he was a long shot. They both got bet down into the preseason, so the numbers they closed at were probably like 30-1 or 25-1. But same with for 3 straight years, it was a surprising outcome at MVP. And then last year, Rodgers repeating was the first time in a while it had been a short number.
And like, I agree with you guys. I have the Bills finishing with the best record. So I think Josh Allen feels like a good bet, but it just seems like the favorite so rarely wins it that whatever it is, the expectations are too high or they don't play as well. They might have a good season, but it's not a great season in the eyes of the voters. I love Wilson's bet. I'm not going to steal it with Justin Herbert because I have the Chargers winning the division. And like we've talked about, you really need to win the division if you want to win MVP. I don't even hate Rodgers. I mean, at 10-1, going for 3 in a row would be insane, and tying Brett Favre for the most consecutive MVP win.
Rodgers to win 3 straight.
But you know what? I will just go completely in the dark. I was going to say Lamar Jackson, but you mentioned him, Brinson. So I will go for a long shot. So I think Josh Allen's my best bet, but my long shot that I would consider putting money on,
Evan McPherson.
Matt Ryan.
Oh, that's actually not a terrible bet.
He is 50-1, and I think the Colts are the best team in that division. If they win 10, 11, 12 games,
I think they got to get 13 or 14 probably to get there.
No, I mean if they win the division and the awards come out after the playoffs, before the Super Bowl, is that what it is?
I mean it's voted on after the regular season.
Yeah, if they win the division, I mean you got to win. 12 games feels like enough.
Yeah, I think if they win the division with 11 or 12 wins, Ryan has it. Well, it's part because you're going to have the career rejuvenation. There's multiple angles here at play.
The Carson Wentz dead cat bounce.
So I like Matt Ryan as my dark horse.
That's actually
Matt Ryan's 50-1. I don't mind Matt Ryan at 50-1. That's a Tua. I mean, I should probably tweet this out just to get the Dolphins fans off my ass. Tua Tagovailoa at 50-1 is not a crazy dart throw. You're just, I'll probably end up betting Matt Ryan. I bet Matt Ryan to win MVP every year, except the year he actually won it. All right.
What about Joe Burrow? Any takers?
Yeah.
13-1, not a ton of interest, but it wouldn't be shocking if he had a huge season and won.
You just hate Joe Burrow.
What about Sam Darnold at 500-1? He's at the very bottom of the list.
I wouldn't even bet a penny on that.
Oh, I'll tell you who is a really good real long shot that is currently on the screen. Trevor Lawrence, 125-1. Like I mean, the Jaguars win that division. First of all,
did you actually predict Jacksonville to win the division? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, Wilson accused me of something that I wasn't.
What was that?
He's like, are you high?
No.
I mean, look, 125-1. It is a major long shot, but Trevor Lawrence has the pedigree. We've seen, we saw it with Mahomes. We saw it with Lamar, second-year quarterback breakout, unexpected. If the Jaguars won 10 games and stole that division, there's going to be talk about Lawrence as a possibility. Although, as Sully correctly pointed out, instead of betting the Jaguars to win the division, just bet Doug Peterson to win Coach of the Year. Because those things are essentially correlated.
Thank you, Sully. When's the last time, or has ever, a defensive player won it?
Yes.
Warren Taylor.
That's it? So I was going to say,
I'd rather think of off the top of my head.
I'd rather too. One time that Breech will tell you about, I'm sure.
I'd rather have Micah Parsons at 300-1. But if defensive players aren't going to win it over Trevor,
defensive players aren't going to win the MVP.
Yeah, so that's
even a kicker has won MVP. Do you guys know that?
Jan Sinnerud?
No.
Who was it?
Mark Mosley.
1987 strike shortened season.
1982.
82
strike shortened season.
And he won the Jerry Curl of the Year 5 straight years too, if I recall correctly. He had quite the afro. Straight ahead kicker too, Breech. Did you know that?
Sure,
Wilson, you were the only one young enough to watch him play, so I believe anything you said.
I literally
was alive. Yeah, we were both alive.
I watched that team a lot. I didn't like them.
And Alan Page, Vikings, 1971.
Also a judge, I do believe.
Yeah, the guy who can't get verified on Twitter. He literally spent half his life trying to get verified on Twitter.
Upholding the laws and can't get verified on.
I've got a good piece of trivia for you.
All right, we'll see if it's good or not.
In 2014, Aaron Rodgers won the MVP.
Okay.
2 defensive players received votes that same year for MVP. One was the runner-up. The other was
J.J. Watt.
That would be J.J. Watt. That is correct.
Oh, not T.J. J.J. Right.
J.J.
Yeah.
I think he won Defensive Player of the Year that year. He had a huge year.
Yeah. He was
I can't remember 2014
Defensive Player of the Year.
What Super Bowl was that? Like, I can't even remember. These things are.
I'm not going to tell you because you'll
go
know the answer to this question.
The Super Bowl was
no. Let me finish the question.
Who is the other defensive player to receive a single vote for MVP that season?
2014.
If I tell you what Super Bowl it was, you're
Richard Sherman.
I know the answer only because I just did writing my preview. I have the Broncos winning it all. Russell Wilson has never gotten an MVP vote, but some of his teammates have.
Oh, Breech. All right. Do you want to? All right. I'll tell you what. I'll give Wilson the Super Bowl it is, and then there should be a 3-step process for you to connect this name. And Breech has already given you one hint. This is the New York Super Bowl.
Okay, right. So that's the Broncos and the Seahawks.
That's right. Do you remember? I remember where we were when we found out who got this vote and who voted for them.
I had to flew that Super Bowl and Breech had to
saw Olivia Munn and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, we were downstairs.
Yeah.
So, gosh, I barely remember that because I remember a person that I won't name names of the NFL PR team said, "Hey, that's Olivia Munn." When he was right, it was. Yeah. She's just as beautiful in person as she is on television. Breech, were you down there too for that? You weren't.
He was.
I don't, Brinson, I think you're mixed up. I think this was
no
49. I think it's the Seahawks Patriots year.
Is that right?
That's Arizona. Sure. That's when Breech was in Las Vegas.
All right. Anyway, we're just gonna give the answer. The answer
Bobby Wagner.
That's right. And who voted for him?
Tony Dungy.
Tony Dungy voted.
That's fantastic.
Do you know how many games Bobby Wagner played that year?
12. I don't know if that's true.
No idea.
11.
What?
Yes, he played 11 games, and Tony Dungy voted him.
Love it.
Are you ready? It was the Patriots over the whatever.
Well, we still saw Olivia Money. You didn't, Breach. How you like that?
Yes, suck it, Breach.
I saw Jennifer Garner at that Super Bowl. I'm happy.
Oh, when you went to the movie premiere?
Yeah.
You didn't even mention Kevin Costner. What a jerk.
Yeah.
God,
Well,
unbelievable.
would be more excited to see Kevin Costner or Jennifer Garner.
Well,
Anyway,
Devo.
both
all right, let's say this is Devo's like, please, for the love of all that is holy.
What am I doing?
Just find it. Talk about something else, guys.
All right, what's next?
All right, our next award is the Defensive Player of the Year award, which we mentioned. JJ Watt won unanimously in 2014.
Who won last year, Breach?
Your boy.
Thank you.
Because only Watts win it and Aaron Donald. That's it.
Okay.
I'm going to go Micah Parsons, even though you didn't ask. Plus,
I think Micah Parsons at 10-1 is a pretty good bet.
Yeah, he's not the only. He's one of the best players on that team. That defense is going to, I don't know how good they're going to be or not. We'll see. But I think he's primed for a bigger breakout year than what we saw as a rookie. He can play anywhere, so on and so forth. And, the concerns coming out about him not being focused on football were overhyped, let's say, because he is an absolute game changer. So 10-1, Micah Parsons. Breach, feel free to talk.
Breach has muted himself somehow.
I had to mute myself. I heard the baby was yelling stuff.
At her dad.
Well, Wilson stole my guess again.
He's down there in a little tiny cage.
Let me out!
Who, Breach or his daughter? I think she would like him in a cage.
I am in a giant.
That's so funny. It's definitely not true.
Let me out right now. All right, who are you going with, Breach?
Well, I was going to say Micah Parsons, but Wilson got to go first again for some reason. Brinson, do we not reverse? This is not reverse draft order. What's going on?
He just simply said, he jumped in and said, I don't care if you want me to go or not. I'm saying Micah
You were
Parsons.
sitting there thinking about
babies and
God knows what. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to say Aaron Donald then.
Wait, this Breach is making this compelling podcast listening.
Well, I mean, it's not it's like Brinson's explanation with Josh Allen at plus 650, at plus 700. You were talking about a guy who has won Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. He's going to be in the conversation all year. And if the Rams are good, that gives him an even better chance of winning it.
He literally tried to behead a Bengals player, and you're still voting for him.
Well, I think Breach's argument is like basically you need someone to have a superhuman season for Aaron Donald not to get the award. TJ Watt did it last year. Myles Garrett clearly they think could do it. Micah Parsons could do it.
Yeah, Wilson. And what are the voters going to do? They're like, if we don't vote for Aaron Donald, he might try to behead us with the helmet. So yeah, of course I'm voting for Donald.
This is called the Sean Wagner McDukey Memorial. Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP vote.
No.
It's just simply something that could happen every single year, and you just have to prepare for those contingencies.
It's called look at history. The long shots don't win Defensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt wasn't a long shot. Aaron Donald wasn't a long shot. Aaron Donald wasn't a long shot. JJ Watt wasn't a long shot. It's been a heavy favorite really every year for the past 10 years.
Okay. Fair enough. Brinson?
Just saying.
Yeah. I think I would look into 30. Like the ones that I would kind of look at would be Derwin James. I kind of like as an idea. Is that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, if he stays healthy, sure.
Gotta stay healthy.
Got to stay healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You got to stay healthy.
But I mean, they haven't. You know who Pete really likes? Marcus Davenport. Like he said when he's at 80-1. When he was at Saints camp, that they were talking him up as potentially having a better season than Cam Jordan, which sounds like crazy talk, but that's a long shot. And I sort of like that one. What about Roquan Smith at 60-1 because he's playing for something to prove? That feels almost too good to be true.
I kind of like the problem is, I think we looked this up. Defensive Player of the Year your team has to be good.
Eesh. Bad news, Roquan.
I think you have to be like a 500 or better, right? Because what were the Steelers? Oh, the Steelers.
9-8-1 or whatever the math is on 17 games.
They were in the. They made the playoffs. Like they were you can't be a 4-win team, I don't think, and win the defensive player.
No.
Is the issue there?
All right. What are we doing next?
We are going to offensive, whatever Debo goes. Let's see where Debo goes with this. Could go anywhere. Offensive Rookie of the Year. This market is totally FUBAR. It is insane. So Kenny Pickett 9-1 now, was 6-1 before. Dameon Pierce 10-1, George Pickens 10-1 are the next two favorites. Those guys were like 60-1 at various points this offseason. If you got any of them, you have some fantastic CLV. CLV ain't worth a crap if he doesn't win, it doesn't matter. But I mean, like, you have to feel good about where you are if you bet on those.
What's CLV for the
closing line value?
Oh yeah, just for those idiots that know what it meant.
Basically, you have value built into what you bet on. But again, like, it doesn't mean it's going to end up being worth anything at all. You know, like, it's not necessarily like you have, you know. Like you're like, wow, I have Dameon Pierce at 50-1. Like, I feel great about the value that I got on that, but it doesn't matter if Dameon Pierce doesn't win the award. I just think you have to look further down the list if you're going to bet on anything at this point. And like, they are pretty scared, they being the books, on the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. If anybody gets any buzz whatsoever, they come flying of this. Like, look at Romeo Doubs is 14-1. I mean,
what are the what's the math on Offensive Rookie of the Year playing on terrible teams? Because Dameon Pierce plays for the Texans. It
is easy to win Offensive Rookie of the Year on a bad team.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. That's certainly worth noting.
Since 2010, it's happened. Like the winning, it's like 5 of the last 12 years has had a winning record. You have the RG3 with the WFTs.
Well, I mean, even closer, more recently, 3 of the past 4 years have all been losing records.
Losing records, yeah.
And Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I might like Dameon Pierce, but also like Breece Hall a lot, because I think Breece Hall has a chance.
Hall at 12-1 is not bad value now if he's just a workhorse for them.
The receivers, I just have no idea. Like, George Pickens, I probably like the best, but receivers can go 3-4 games and get 5 targets and 2 catches, and then where are you? So.
And remember, Mac Jones should have won it last year. He was the -1,000 going into week 16 or whatever when Jamar Chase blew up, and it completely flipped the script. Like, you know, it basically, like, that one huge game against the Chiefs completely changed everything about that market, which was just crazy.
And that's the one thing to keep in mind, is that when you think about a receiver, is they can flip things with just 2 or 3 huge games. And if those come at the end of the season, then you can look really smart.
I'll give you 2 longest shots. Tyler Algier, the running back for the Falcons. He's listed 3rd in the depth chart behind Cordell Patterson and Damian Williams. But if he plays, I think he's going to stay on the field. He's a good player. He's at 60-1, and then a little higher.
Who's that at 60-1?
Tyler Algier, the running back for the Falcons.
I have bet Tyler Algier several times.
He's good, man. He's really good. Like I said,
and like he could get all the carries for the Falcons.
Right. I mean, Cordell Patterson again. How many carries does that guy to get?
I think they're going to split Patterson out more. Yeah, that if you're betting on this market, I think Algier is a must bet.
And Alec Pierce at 50-1 is also one to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Pete loved him a lot coming out of Cincinnati. Meade less so, but he seems to be clicking with Matt Ryan, who is.
I mean, he's just their straight up wide receiver too.
Yeah, that's right. So those are two little nuggets that caught my attention.
Rashad White at 50-1 isn't a terrible bet. Like, if something happens to regular season Lenny and he goes down. Isaiah Pacheco, was it been Pacheco? Excuse me, 40-1. Yeah. He's like, I mean, he could be the number 2 running back. He could end up being. It wouldn't be crazy if he ended up being the number 1, like the best running back on the Chiefs.
Right. I mean, there's slim pickings, sadly. Hey, Debo,
like Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets hurt, and all of a sudden he's the lead guy on the Chiefs, and that's at 40-1. That's pretty good value. Jahan Dotson at 25-1. That's a little short for me. There shouldn't be this many people under 20-1. That they've squeezed it down.
Yeah,
Kenneth Walker at 20-1 is probably decent value at this point.
Go all the way to the bottom, Debo. The very last name is
Son of a Night.
Carson Strong, who is currently a free agent. So if he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, that would be a fantastic story.
Ooh, right, Brinson could go for Ike Ekwonu.
Now, I was about
in the spirit of Garrett Bradbury.
You joke, but
oh boy, he never learns. Never learns.
Oh, have you learned? All right, what to?
Good comeback.
You don't know the answer. You're not going to be able to correctly guess this. I bet you can't get this.
All right, go ahead.
Last year, Jamar Chase won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Correct. I got it.
42 votes. Mac Jones got 5 votes. The other 3 votes were given to 2 players. Who are they?
Penei Sewell and Trevor Lawrence.
Renee Sewell, those are both incorrect.
Rashawn Slater got one. I know that.
That is correct. Oh, a tackle and offensive lineman got a vote. How interesting.
Did he win it?
That is interesting.
How many votes was he short?
But he only got like 1 or 2 votes. He wasn't even close.
70 votes short. Okay.
I don't know who got the other one, but I'm guessing it was an offensive lineman.
Reed Humphrey got 2 votes for the
go.
Chiefs. 2 offensive linemen got Rookie of the Year votes. I'm just saying, in a weird year with no like superstar talent at quarterback and guys who aren't going to get a ton of opportunity at quarterback,
Kenny Pickett.
It wouldn't be that crazy if like
it would be crazy
if one of those 3 offensive linemen just stole the award somehow. And then
let me ask you this:
for all of eternity, that an offensive lineman can win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
How much money are you putting on either of these? Icky, Evan Neal, Charles Cross.
Pizza money. You're not putting much on there.
Okay, there's proofs in the pudding.
It's 150 to 1. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
Just bet $1,000. You might win.
It's a better bet than Carson Strong.
I wasn't saying I was going to bet Carson Strong. I just thought it was interesting that he was on the list, even though he's currently unemployed.
All right, let's go to the next award.
Well, you didn't even hear my opinion. My God, Brinson.
Right. He got so caught up in the offensive line conversation, he lost his bearings.
I'm going to go with Dobbs or Sky Moore. They have the same odds, plus 1,400, 14 to 1. Same reason.
But Dobbs, if you're betting, is it Dubes or Dobbs?
It's Dobbs.
If you're betting Romeo at 14 to 1, you're just getting horrible value.
Why are you getting horrible value? If you win the award, you won
2 weeks ago.
Well, if you did not
he was going to win before second Aaron Rodgers mentioned his name, he came crashing down 14 to 1.
If you didn't look at the odds 2 weeks ago, and this is your first time looking at them, then you're getting excellent value.
That's the stupidest thing anyone's ever said.
It's literally not.
No, because someone previously said, by the way, that the center from NC State was going to win Rookie of the Year. That was dumb.
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you.
Can't even think of that guy's name.
Pull up your pants.
That's the wrong one. Whatever. All right. I tell you what, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at a few more awards next. One other name that you could have thrown in there is Zamir White, 80 to 1.
Yeah. He goes by Bam.
That's Bam Knight.
Zonovan. Dang it.
Oh, I think Zonovan Knight 125 to 1 is not crazy. Like if Breece Hall gets hurt, I mean, he could take over. He looked great in the preseason on offensive.
Preseason doesn't matter, Pete Prisco. And by the way, Zonovan Knight's a free agent. He's not currently with the team.
He made the team.
They did bring him back. Sorry.
God, I was like, what? He got cut. I didn't realize. I feel like I had that conversation with somebody.
Oh wait, no, they did cut him. They cut him yesterday.
Are you messing with me?
No. The Jets have announced the re-signing of backup offensive line Connor McDermott, who was let go last week, and the team trimmed its roster to 53 men. To clear room, the Jets waived rookie running back Bam Knight.
Ouch.
Bam Knight. Bam.
Ouch.
So,
that stinks.
But I mean, he might be. I don't know if he's going to get re-signed to the practice squad or end up somewhere else. But for now, he's currently.
I missed that yesterday while I was traveling. Dang.
Well, I mean, there's a million things going on this time.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yes, that would not be the top of the list for.
Yeah.
You won't believe this, but Pete Prisco is somehow incapable of managing to make it through 2 picks in a fantasy draft.
That sounds all right.
Yep, checks out, doesn't it?
Least surprising thing you've told us today.
I know, it's just pathetic, Pete.
My goodness.
So let's look at the defensive rookie of the year class next.
Should I go first so we don't forget about me?
Sure, you start, Breech.
Tell us.
I'm going with Sauce Gardner. There we go.
All right. How many times?
12-1. Plays for the Jets. If you're a cornerback winning this award, you need interceptions. You know who he plays against in a division where Josh Allen threw the 3rd most interceptions in the NFL. Mac Jones threw 13 interceptions. Tua threw double-digit interceptions. He only started 13 games. He gets to play against Joe Burrow, who, as good as he is a risk taker, does throw interceptions. I think he tied for 6th or 7th most interceptions. And he gets to play against Brinson's boy, Trevor Lawrence, who led the NFL in interceptions. So I feel like there are going to be a lot of opportunities.
Well, let me ask you this. Why would you go with him instead of Derek Stingley then? He plays in the AFC South.
I just explained. Because Josh Allen and Mac Jones and Tua throw interceptions.
Okay. How many times has a cornerback won Defensive Rookie of the Year?
It happened as recently as Marshawn Lattimore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he had a fantastic year, though.
And Marcus Peters in 2015. So at least twice in the past.
No. This is bad process by you.
What?
Yeah. Let's look at Marcus Peters. Let's look at Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn had a fantastic season.
Marcus Peters led the entire NFL in interceptions.
Well, he's saying he's going to have a lot of opportunity. I think it's crazy, but at least he tried to defend it.
I mean,
Marshawn Lattimore won it with 5 interceptions.
Yeah, but he played fantastic.
that team that changed everything. Remember, there was a 7-9 team 3 straight years, and then also five picks is a lot.
You know what a better pick would have been, Breech, if you're going cornerback? Tyre Elam, because he will eventually be playing opposite Tre'Davious White. He won't be going up against number ones, and he'll have more opportunities to make big plays. So actually, sadly, I have to agree with Brinson here.
This is amazing.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
You guys both have to get a sauce tattoo if he wins. Defensive
tattoo.
Insulting.
I'm done with the tattoos after.
Fine, you have to get a fake tattoo, a temporary tattoo that stays on for 12 months.
I think Breech should be next in line for the tattoo. It should be of Tintin. I'm going to keep the Eagles thing going. I'm going with Jordan Davis, who was dominant in training camp, had a really good preseason from what I saw. Debo can comment on how good it actually was, but he appears to be unblockable. The Dean actually played well at the times I saw him on the field too. They're both close to 1,800, but I'll go with Jordan Davis. Has the interior defensive lineman ever won this award?
Chase Young.
You can't. Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but as Breech noted, he is not human.
Sheldon Richardson.
He won it. Okay. Yeah.
That was a weird year for all awards, by the way. It was everything was bizarre that season.
18-1. I'm going with Jordan Davis.
Okay. You do you.
What's wrong with that?
I love Jordan Davis. You know how I feel about Jordan Davis.
Well, who are you going with?
I just think 18-1 is a little short for what I would want for Jordan Davis. So
Brinson hates my pick and he hates your pick. So I can't wait to hear his pick.
Yeah. What NC State player that's going to get cut are you going to pick to win this?
It's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to take the favorite.
I think you do have to just take one of the pass rushers up top. If you look at who's won the award before, this is just a pass rushers award unless there's somebody with a ton of picks. So
one has a knee injury and the other one plays for a not a great football team. So who are you taking?
I'll take Trayvon Walker.
What?
He gets one-on-ones. He's got questionable quarterbacks he's going up against. No, he's not going up against elite quarterbacks. He can definitely pile up sacks.
Disrespectful to Davis Mills. Okay.
Oh, well.
Hey, after Brinson made fun of our picks, Wilson, guess how many times a Jacksonville player has won Rookie of the Year?
Either 50 or 0.
0.
Oh, how about that, Brinson? Dunked on yourself. And you missed it.
How many times is it what?
He wasn't even paying attention. Jaguars player won the award.
So what does that have to do with it?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Garrett Bradbury, there's a chance.
So, how many times a Jaguars players won this award? It can't happen. Silly.
Well, if you're basing future outcomes on history, that would be a pretty good indicator that you're going to lose money on.
I'm not basing future outcomes on history. That would be dumb.
Well, clearly not.
What is happening here?
All right. So Breech and I won that round. You lost. What's next?
If you look at it, it's Micah Parsons, Chase Young, Nick Bosa. This is a pass rushers award.
You know those guys have in common?
Had all kinds of. Then Darius had all kinds of stats piled up.
You know what those guys have in common? They didn't play for the Jaguars. Okay. What's next, Debo? Coach of the Year. All right, here we go. What did Sully say about Coach of the Year? Take Doug?
No, he said if you think the Jags are going to win the AFC South, you should bet Doug for Coach of the Year instead. Okay. Because if they even get close to winning the division, he could still win Coach of the Year.
Doug Peterson, 15-1 now. Thanks to Sully for slicing his number in half there. He was 30-1, I think.
Let me ask you this. So, God, there are a lot of guys at 15-1. Of all the guys at 15-1 at the top of the list there, Staley's the favorite?
Yes.
All right, let's include
you guys. Staley's the favorite.
I know. Let's include all those names. So, Sean McVay, Nathaniel Hackett, Vrabel, O'Connell, Shanahan, Peterson, Staley. Who are you taking? Let's assume they all have the same odds. They're pretty close.
I think I'd take Peterson. I think he has the most upside in terms
of
Doug.
Thank you. Breech, who are you taking?
Doug. You know what's crazy? You could literally bet at $100 and at least 12 of these guys and guarantee yourself a profit if they won, but you would take a beating if no one did. That's you don't usually see the top favorite.
It's crazy that there's
one.
Yeah, there's nobody under 10-1.
How is O'Connell and Hackett on this list? I feel like they should be much longer odds.
Well, it's funny, Wilson, that you said that because O'Connell was going to be my pick, and then I just saw his odds, and I don't think those are long enough. But I like O'Connell to win it. I was going to say Staley, but I don't want to pick the favorite.
Hackett should be way longer because he'll have to win that division or at least come in second. Well, come in second and go to the playoffs. So you can figure that out if you bet in the regular season. But why 15-1 doesn't make any sense there? Is that just me?
For Hackett?
Yeah. Because you can't win 4 games in that division and win Coach of the Year. You got to win.
No, I mean, you can. If you turn the franchise around, you'll do it. I mean, Stefanski won it. The Browns finished in 3rd that year.
How many? What are the fewest number of games Hackett can win? And
See, that's a better argument for Doug than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like you win 9 games with the Jaguars, miss the playoffs, and Doug's winning the award.
If Hackett wins 8 games, he's not winning the award.
Right. No, I think you have to win at least 11.
Okay, well, that's what I just said. You finished 2nd place in the division.
I would much rather bet on Doug or hey, look, Kyle Shanahan is a decent value because if Trey Lance is awesome, he's going to get credit for it.
I don't know. I don't feel great about that.
I mean, Kevin O'Connell, if the Vikings beat the Packers in that division, he's going to get a lot of credit for it. McVay, just won the Super Bowl, so probably not going to be involved.
Yeah, you just can't bet anyone that, like Matt LaFleur probably doesn't get the credit he deserves. But if you've won 13 games 3 years in a row, there's no way you're winning the award because that's your expectation.
What's McDermott on there?
McDermott is, let's see, 18-1.
I don't hate that because you can have, the Bills win 15-2.
Why is Josh McDaniels 22-1 and Nathaniel Hackett's 15-1?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Josh McDaniels is a decent bet because
That's
if they
a great
win that
bet.
division, he's winning the award. If
Ooh,
they win AFC West, he's winning.
Here's an even better bet. Scroll at the bottom there, Debo. Dennis Allen 25-1 because they're winning that division.
And if they win that division, he's winning it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Unless the Saints and Raiders both win the division, and then Allen and McDaniels tie.
All right. That was my favorite one so far.
What about Bill Belichick?
Has he ever won?
He has won it.
But he doesn't win it as often as he should.
What
expectations are too high.
Why is he 20-1? I mean, this team has a lot of questions.
He should be like 30-1. It's because if they make the playoffs, he might win it.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to make the play. I don't know what the odds are right now.
I wouldn't want to.
Oh, I got him here. Let me look, see if I can find it real quick.
They're probably. I bet they're not even favored to make the playoffs at this point.
They're plus 475 to win the division. I don't have the playoff odds in front of me, but that's. Oh gosh. Anyway, all right. What's next?
What about Matt Rule at 30-1?
What about it?
I would not bet that.
Panthers getting to 10 wins. What do you think?
He has a better chance of winning Offensive Rookie of the Year than winning Coach of the Year.
Comeback Player of the Year. Has Caesar's finally done the correct thing and taken Deshaun Watson off of this list?
No, they have not.
They have not. Chris McCaffrey down to 9-1. He was 11-1, I think, when RJ gave it out on the pod. Deshaun Watson 18-1. Take him off the list, please. Remove his name from the list.
What is the prerequisite? Injury?
Are you going to come back from suspension?
Well, there's no prerequisite. You can come back.
Yeah, Philip Rivers came back from being like having a below average year one time.
Oh, okay.
The voters literally make their own criteria for this award, which is what makes the award weird.
Well, like Alex Smith was a lock if he played at all to win after coming back from that leg injury. I think McCaffrey's a better bet. Baker Mayfield's just coming back from the Browns. Like that's what the argument would
be. Hilarious if you want.
Yeah.
We had an injury, sort of, but who knows what the rules are?
I mean, Derrick Henry came back last year.
Yeah, Michael Thomas makes sense as a
5-1 is weird. I guess he's coming back from an injury, but
yeah. What do you mean? What's weird about that?
I mean, I will say, a quarterback has won it 4 straight years.
Oh, so you're saying Mitch Trubisky at 20-1 is a slam dunk?
I mean, Mitch Trubisky could win comeback. Like that's not crazy.
If the Steelers made the playoffs.
Mitch Trubisky is the front runner for next year when he comeback player of the year because he's going to get knocked out in week 2 by that offensive line.
What about
Alex Smith? So Tannehill came back from injury, but also was like coming back from Adam Gase.
What is
Michael Thomas?
Yeah, what's the math say on doubling down on Jameis and Michael Thomas? Is that a good bet to make or not?
No.
Ryan, you like that Ryan Fitzpatrick bet?
Wait, where's that? Oh, there. Yeah,
you know who's not a bad bet for this award? 60-1 Carl Lawson. Like he tore his ACL before the season. If he has like 15 sacks for the Jets,
60-1 Ryan Fitzpatrick might be a better bet. Just like Carson Strong is unemployed, but I mean that doesn't mean they can stay unemployed forever.
I mean, I'm just saying, like if none of those guys up top have great seasons, and Carl Lawson has a great defensive season, and he tore his ACL last year, that's just an easy look for the voters. At 60-1, it's not worth. Like J.C. Horn wouldn't be crazy.
Is Will Fuller on a roster?
He is not.
Okay, he's on the list at 50-1.
If the Packers sign Will Fuller,
right?
Path. Remember they should have given up 4 first-round picks for Will Fuller? J.K. Dobbins at 25-1 isn't crazy either. I like J.K. Dobbins a lot.
All right. So what does Debo want us to do now? Debo says, oh, we're doing props next.
Like lowest scoring team.
You tell him and he'll pick the category.
All right.
Which prop do you want to do?
Breech, why don't you spin the wheel for
Bing. Stop.
total regular season receiving touchdowns? Who's going to have?
Ooh.
Oh, these are over under. Let's do most regular season receiving touchdowns or most regular season passing touchdowns. We can start there. So easily organized.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, well, you know where I'm going. Is that a good bet, Justin Herbert at 8-1?
Not for most.
Why not?
Why not?
I think that. Well, I'll ask you. How concerned are you about the pressure the Bills are facing preseason affecting how they play? In all
I'm not
facets?
overly concerned.
Breech, are you concerned at all? As someone who is, as a fan, has had to deal with teams not living up to expectations periodically.
By the way, Tom Brady.
What's the exact question?
Just for clarification, last year Tom Brady led the league with 43 passing touchdowns. Matthew Stafford second at 41. Justin Herbert third at 38. And then Mahomes and Dak and Aaron Rodgers had 37 each. Josh Allen 36. Joe Burrow 34. Kirk Cousins 33. And Carson Wentz 10th at 27. Interesting.
Breech, I was asking, how concerned are you about the Bills in general and Josh Allen in particular struggling with the expectations they're facing preseason as it affects not only their wins and losses, but their individual productivity?
I mean, I'd say just a little concerned, but I mean, the team feels like they can live up to the hype. I'm more concerned that they just don't always think about the fact that they were 13 seconds away from going to an AFC title game, start choking away fourth quarter games because of that.
So knowing that, would you rather have Justin Herbert here or Josh Allen, who is slightly better odds than Justin Herbert, I think
I would rather have Herbert.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear.
Okay. Well, no problem with that. Scroll down a little bit. Let's see if there's maybe a sleeper value spot in there. So I gotta get. Ooh,
Tua
at 35-1 most passing touchdowns. So you think Tua is going to throw 40 plus? I think you have to go 40 and change.
We forget that he played at Alabama with all those first round picks and just threw 8 touchdowns a game. And he looked good in that preseason game against the Eagles. I don't want to put too much stock in that, but I'll be honest. I'm recency biased against for Tua. It's a long shot, 35-1. That's not terrible.
I'd like a little more than that. I think
a little more. Who else is down there?
I mean, he's better than Deshaun Watson at 25-1.
What about Kirk Cousins?
No, hard pass.
He's finished in the top 10 in each of the past 2 years. 18-1, 6th overall last year with 30, or in 2020 with 35 touchdowns.
Would you take Kirk at 18-1?
And that's with a defensive head coach who hated him. He now has an offensive-minded head coach who
hates him. 18-1, 18-1 on Kirk or 35-1 on Tua, Breech?
I would take 18-1 on Kirk.
Oh boy, yeah boy. Oh, James at 35-1 as well. I mean, he has Jarvis, he has Chris Olave, and he has Mike Thomas coming back, and Alvin Kamara. Not terrible.
Man, I like all these old guys too. I like Russell Wilson. He threw 40 touchdowns in 2020. Matt Ryan. He has Jonathan Taylor behind him. People are going to be trying to stop the run. He just throws the ball. He's just going to score touchdowns.
How is it that Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley are the exact same odds to win? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. I got one.
Wait. That was most Lamar. What was Lamar again on there?
50-1.
He led the league in passing touchdowns.
Tyler Huntley also 50-1. So you can have your pick.
Lamar 50-1 is a bet.
I think that's just a contract probably conversation.
I think it's just like the rushing equity, and like they don't think he'll throw that many. I think
Here, stop there, Debo. I want to do
teams. Then he came back and he hasn't hit 30 in the past 2 seasons. Obviously, he was injured last year. In 2020, he only threw 26.
All right, I'm gonna do it quickly. We'll do teams to go.
Though.
Teams to go 0-17. This will be a quick yes and no. So, first of all, who is in your mind is the worst team in the NFL as we sit here?
That's tough.
I think it's the Bears.
Falcons.
I think it's the Bears. Prisco thinks it's the Falcons. Is Seattle down there? Pete had Seattle at 31 on his power rankings. I don't think they're that bad. But put another way, I think the team that's most likely to not win a game is probably the Bears. The Falcons won all those 1-point games last year and somehow won 7 games. I think they can sneak out 1 win. Is there any team, put another way, is any team that's going to go winless? Like, what are you betting here?
I would bet a lot that there is no team that goes winless.
Yeah, nobody's going winless. You stumble into a win somehow. Also, the Bears and Falcons play each other.
Yeah. But
Worst regular season record, though, the Bears at 6-1. How is that not a bet? Why are the Bears? Why are the Bears the 4th favorite on that list? They should be like the number 1.
It is gonna. I think. Are we giving too much credit to Lovie Smith for not being as good a coach as David Culley? Because I think we're sort of glossing over that.
It could be a drop off.
But I'm with you on the Bears. I think the Jets are actually going to be better than. I don't want to. That's going to bite me.
The Bears should have the same odds as the Falcons and the Jets and the Texans.
I think the Jets are better, but I think those other 3 teams are grouped together. I think Seattle, the Jets, and the Panthers maybe will be better than conventional wisdom says. But good Lord, those teams could combine for 3 wins. I don't know.
Emily in the chat threw out Lions. I don't even see them on the list. They're better than 10-1.
Lions are winning 7 games this year.
The Lions could easily win 3 games against
15-1 for the Lions.
What's that?
They're right below the Panthers, 15-1. What's the lowest team that you would bet on this list?
Here, scroll down a little bit, Debo.
Like the Giants. The Giants are 30-1.
That's too low. Did you hear Joe Shane? That's too high. Did you hear Joe Shane?
Yeah, why are the Giants there?
Oh, 30-1's great odds. I'm saying it's great value.
I would bet the Giants at 30-1 for sure.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, Joe Shane was asked about. He's like, "What do you think about the expectations for this season?" He's like, we're just playing the hand we're dealt. There's nothing we can do about it. It's like, what? Did you just say
he was basically already making excuses for a horrible season.
Yeah.
Well, that could be. He might be doing the reverse Jedi mind trick like Tua and Tyreek. Who's below the Saints there?
Titans at 100-1.
Titans, get out of here. Cardinals, I like better than the Titans.
I thought about the Cardinals too.
I mean, the Cardinals could implode.
The Browns at 50-1.
Yeah,
Browns
that's not
the Browns could just stink until Deshaun comes back. They hadn't played in 2.5 years,
and they could still stink, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the Browns.
If he comes back with 3-8 team, that's he's gonna be dejected. You don't want to go out there and play and get beat up in a 3-8 team when you have no shot at the playoffs.
All right. Do you want to do one, Brinson, and then
I bet the Colts this last year that was off. I don't think they could do it. But
disrespecting to
Cowboys 200-1. Dak gets hurt early on.
No, because they'll fire Mike McCarthy after week 3 and then hire Sean Payton
and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
maybe. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I guess we can wrap this up quickly with this other one that Debo had on the rundown. The first overall pick. I'll stick with the Bears.
Okay.
So what if the Cardinals get it and they draft a quarterback?
The Bears at 6-1 is a bet, and so is the Giants at 30-1. First overall pick. Where's Devin Leary? Not after last weekend.
I haven't watched that game yet, so I look forward to that.
Don't watch it. The second half is a walking heart attack. My buddy almost caused like 20. Not even kidding. Almost caused like he was about to break like $20,000 worth of stuff in his house.
Who did they play?
East Carolina, and
that game was close. Did they win?
They missed an extra point and then missed a 41-yard field goal, and would have beaten us. State held on for dear life.
Oh, there's Devin Leary way down there. It's 60-1. Don't bet that.
Don't bet that.
I'll say I think the Falcons have the worst record. They're not going to draft a quarterback because they just got Desmond Ridder.
I would not. I don't think that's.
Yeah, they drafted him in the 3rd round though.
If they have the worst record in football, it means Ritter's played enough that they've seen Ridder.
Well, the Texans didn't draft a quarterback this year, and they got Davis Mills in the 3rd round last year, so there is some wiggle room there.
At least a year. I think they would go Will Anderson.
And that's the other thing. That's actually sort of the Jaguars playbook and the Texans and taking Derek Stingley. So yeah,
but they weren't like good quarterbacks. We believe Bryce Young and.
Well, some people don't like the fact that Bryce Young weighs 140 pounds. That's a concern, but CJ Stroud certainly. Also, Debo, I don't know if you can find this, but I see it on the rundown. I think it's a good one. Last undefeated team. Breech, you have all the schedules memorized. Is there one that pops out?
Last undefeated team. You know what's funny is that I have the Broncos.
That is funny.
That
Is that based on
is-
something you wrote, or are you just guessing, picking
What
names
is
out of a hat?
Whoa.
That's looking at the schedule and looking at how good teams are, and
So they play the
Billing-
toughest division in football. Do you
what
have
does
them
it
making the playoffs? Can you reveal that? We all turned in our
I
picks.
do have them
breakdown.
I have them winning the Super Bowl.
What? Okay.
The
Well,
Broncos?
that's a bold take.
Wait, we talked about this like last week. You didn't even mention the Broncos.
Well, I didn't do my picks yet. I had to go
Is this
through it. And
official?
I went through my process. My preview is out, man. And I took the Broncos.
By the way, did you see I mean, we talked about this in our Slack, but I'm sort of just bring it up for the podcast listeners. But did you see the graphic that HQ put together for Breech's records?
Oh
It's
my
the craziest thing I've
God.
ever seen in my life.
I didn't see that in Slack. You put it in there?
Oh my God, look at it, Wilson. You have to go look at it. It is.
Where is it?
I am literally getting nonstop tweets. Nobody is yelling at me about my picks. They're yelling about me about the insanity of the graphic.
It's impossible to figure out what the hell's going on with it. Like, what is the organizational process with this? Like, I don't understand it at all. Look at it. Like, there's
before
no
I went to
rhyme or reason with
Just
which
haphazardly put the teams together.
Before I went to bed last night, I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out if there was some sort of pattern and could not figure one out. I mean, it's bonkers. I need to find out who made this. I need to talk to him. I need to get to the bottom of this.
Like, the top four teams are an NFC South team, an AFC West team, an AFC South team, and another AFC South team. And one team is going 10-7. There's no like order, like to like what the record is. There's no way in hell to figure out what's going on.
The point is to disorient the reader so they don't know what to yell.
Well,
at
it worked. It also disoriented the writer. So
I mean, like, the guy who wrote the article is completely disoriented.
This
Like,
is
doesn't know how to handle it.
Holy
wait, so who do you guys think finishes,
Oh my gosh.
goes undefeated the longest, last undefeated team?
I can't believe you have the
I mean, what is the
Well,
argument for that you're making for
My
the
argument for the Broncos is that they open against the Seahawks and the Texans. So I think they win those.
Okay.
Then they get the 49ers at home. Trey Lance's third start, only a second road game. Tough place to play. So I think they can win that game. Then they play the Raiders. I feel like the division games are pretty much a toss-up in the AFC West this year. So I think they can win that. Then they have the Colts at home. And then week 6, they play the Chargers. And if they can win that game, they play the Jets and they play Jacksonville. And then they have a week 9 bye. So if you can beat the Raiders and the Chargers, there's a good chance you're getting to week 10 undefeated.
That's a big ask.
I mean, all of it's a big ask. It's trying to go. I mean, you guys pick a team and you can do the same thing. I'll pull up every schedule.
So
Got the
Breech, I was
schedules
going
right.
to yell at you for only having one team winning more than 12 games, the Bills, but last year only 2 teams won more than 12 games. So that's not crazy. You don't have any team winning more than 13 games, which also, I mean, I get it. I don't hate that either. I just think picking a team in a division like that, I think it's going to be a team like I don't know what the Colts schedule is offhand. Look it up real quick, but a team in a crappy division might have a better chance.
So the Colts open up against the Texans and Jags. So
there you go. Okay.
very possible go 2-0. But then their next 3 games are Chiefs, Titans, at Broncos.
Yeah. All right. The Chiefs game. Where's the Chiefs game? Indy?
Chiefs game is in Indy.
Okay. I feel okay about that because, again, last year the Chiefs started 3-3 with all their weapons. Tyreek's gone. There's huge concerns with the rest of the wide receivers. The defense will see. There's a lot of young players there. After the Chiefs game, who did they play?
Then the Titans at home.
Okay. Typically, the Colts do pretty well against the Titans. Is that right in Indianapolis? Or is that 50-50? And then the other game is the Broncos against your Broncos. How many games did you have the Broncos winning before they lost? Or you didn't?
Well, I said if they could get to their bye, which is in week 9.
Oh, my gosh. 8-0.
Then they get to week 10.
All right. I'll stick with the Colts just to keep it interesting.
What are the Colts odds?
18-1 on the screen.
Ooh. Who
What are
do you
the
like,
Jaguars?
Brinson?
What are the Jaguars?
Stop it.
Seriously, what are the Jaguars?
And Wilson, the Titans have won 4 out of 5 against the Colts.
No, that doesn't help, does it?
Because the Jaguars start out at Washington, have the Colts at home, who they've like Jaguars haven't won. The Colts haven't won there since like 2014, and then they're at the Chargers at the Eagles. Bad bet.
The Jaguars are going to make it in September.
Hold on. The Panthers are interesting at 100. This is last undefeated still, right?
Right.
Sure.
Panthers are 101. Panthers get the Browns at home, at the Giants, Saints at home, Cardinals at home, 49ers at home, I mean, could they be like the only 5-0 team? And that's
What's after San Francisco?
at the Rams.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
So
By the way,
you need. Oh my God, Debo got a Carson Wentz Colts jersey.
yeah, Debo, put that up, and I want to hear the.
All right, and I got one more.
All right,
but it's not. It's 10-1. It is the Packers.
Oh, well,
So I think the opening game against
Sean
the
Wagner McDuffie pick.
it's 10-1. They're not they're even close to the favorite. They're the fifth. If I think the first game against the Vikings is a toss-up. I actually picked the Vikings, but if you look at their first 8 games, they play the Bears, the Patriots, the Giants, the Jets, the Commanders, and then they do play the Bills in week 8, and then the other big question mark will be week 3 against Tom Brady, the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay.
All right, fair enough. I want to hear Debo's explanation and how much he spent on. First of all, let's guess how much Debo spent on this Carson Wentz Colts jersey that he just.
Why did you buy this now, Debo?
$11.
$11 over under $11, Brinson.
I'll say he spent $2.
I bet he spent $25.
Yeah.
So why did you buy this Carson Wentz jersey, Colts jersey, Debo, and how much did you spend on it?
So actually, I've never worn like a non-Eagles jersey, and this is the only person I would ever wear a non-Eagles jersey for. Is
ironically or on purpose?
No, on purpose.
Okay.
I'll wear other jerseys for basketball or baseball. Like, I don't care. I don't feel like I'm going against my team, but I feel like that way if I do it for football. So I purchased this maybe like September 1st of 2021. And just a couple of address changes led to me finally getting it today, actually.
So it's like it took you as long as like a Wilson tattoo. Like
almost.
That is hilarious.
So now,
so you ordered this for last season, and
so he spent way more than $25 then. If he ordered,
it was $165. It was not out of my wallet directly. Like that was the amount that was paid towards it.
Wait,
but
huh?
Yeah, he stole it.
Yeah, like what is going on here?
There was a little fund that was I just used profits from that. It's not like
a little fund,
Pick Six slush fund.
Yeah, like what was it, who? But it's not from your wallet. It'd be like from your. What was the fund?
I just took all the money that we're making from ads on YouTube and devoted it towards a Carson Wentz jersey.
Imagine being the person responsible for filling this order, thinking there's no way anyone's going to order a Carson Wentz Colts jersey, and they just
remember last year they were ordering a bunch of them. Now it's like this is like
perfect time to rock it.
How do you feel about Doug? How do you feel about Doug beating Carson in Week 1 this year?
It's a predicament. Eagles play both teams this year. Obviously, Commanders twice.
So, will you? What jersey will you wear Week 1? Will you wear this, or will you wear Eagles?
No, this is never. This is more
decorative.
Yeah,
like a.
I will go back.
You wrap moldy bread in it and give it to your neighbors. You're like, hey, just
no, he's gonna frame it, put it on the wall, like Will Middlebrooks or Brady Quinn or Danny Cannell has the jerseys behind them.
That 2 is a good number to get a signature on, though. Now, Mike Momola
I
will
bet
be
Carson
back.
would love signing a Colts jersey. Hey, hi Carson, longtime Eagles fan. Oh, great, that's great. You're an Eagles fan. That's fantastic. I'm the division rival with them now. They kicked me to the curb. What else you got for me, kid? Well, would you sign this Colts jersey? Like this guy's gonna punch.
Or he'll be excited, like, wait, bro, you're one of the 3 people that bought the Carson Wentz Colts jersey. I'll gladly sign. These things are worth $1 billion.
I feel like a lot of those were sold.
No way. Nobody's buying
last year. Yes.
No. You should be able to get a refund. Go to Fanatics. Don't they do like a fan guarantee if your team?
Not if
your guy is
sucks in weeks 18.
All right, that's a great way to end it.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. That's it for this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, don't go anywhere. We're going to do the mailbag for Tuesday's show in video form, like immediately on this feed without going anywhere. If you are listening to the podcast, we'll see you tomorrow. For Breech, I'm Brinson. For Wilson, I'm Brinson. See you guys later. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is Tuesday, September the 6th. If you are watching, if you're listening or watching to the podcast, because this is a mailbag show. And we will be answering some questions from our
Mailbag.
Thank you.
I thought I went blind. I was like, where did Wilson go? He's not here anymore.
Wilson is running to Tinkle because he can't hold it for more than like 30 minutes. It's kind of amazing.
Tinkle.
I kind of like that. Anyway, joining me, John Breech, and shortly Ryan Wilson. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, you just went forward in time to Wednesday and then back in time is now Tuesday. So it's like a brief little jaunt into forward into time, if you're into that sort of thing. I'm also doing a fantasy draft while this is going on. It's like a standard one. It's very difficult.
Wait, you were trying to do a fantasy draft while you host the podcast?
I've been doing a fantasy draft for the last the last 30 minutes.
My God, Brinson.
It's very difficult.
I
have to decide who do I want to pick between Hunter Renfrow, George Pickens.
Renfrow.
You think so? Chase Claypool still out there?
Renfrow.
Do
you want Mitchell Trubisky throwing your guy passes, or do you want Derek Carr?
Renfrow or George Pickens, Wilson?
Renfrow all day.
Okay. Your guy
all day.
I can also get Melvin Gordon, Nyheim Hines, Damian Harris are available. What to do? I have to wait for Prisco on every single pick, too. It's very annoying.
Oh, I thought this was a mailbag question.
No, we're waiting back for you to get back to the mailbag question. Breech, I'm doing a live, an annoying live. I'm defending my championship right now, and it's not going well. I don't think my team's very good. Do we hear what my team
All
is?
right. Yeah, go ahead. Then I'll read a would you rather. We'll get going.
All right. Trey Lance at quarterback. Zeke Elliott, Christian McCaffrey, Michael Pittman, Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk, and Kyle Pitts. Actually, the team's kind of loaded, didn't it?
It feels pretty good on paper.
Pickens. So I guess I'll take Renfrow here.
Yeah, you just don't know with that.
Renfrow, Chase Claypool, Jahan Dotson. Yeah, Renfrow's kind of like the last option here. Man,
yep, Renfrow.
Shoes drop off quick. All right. Why don't you do a would you rather while I figure out who I'm going to take on this turn?
All right, so I'll have to read this a couple times because Brinson won't be paying attention. But Breech, you and Debo can listen to this. Debo's younger, so
already listening.
Perhaps his answer will change. If your life depended on victory, you have to run a 100-yard race against either a sixth grader or against your own 11-year-old dog. You'll have to borrow someone's dog. Breech, but my dog at 13, his two back legs don't work, so I actually would beat him. I don't know if I would have beaten him at 11 when he was 11. And a sixth grader, that's 11 to 12 years old. And depending on which sixth grader you get, you might get absolutely smoked. So I don't know what do you want to say? Like an above average athletic sixth grader? Average athletic sixth grader? What do you want to say?
I would pick a sixth grader.
So
what kind of dog? I don't have a dog, so I don't know about dog speed.
Dog speed is for real. 11-year-old dog speed, depending on the dog. Like I don't know if it's a big dog or a small dog. Like Brinson has a little tiny dog. I have a yellow lab.
I didn't hear it the first time. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. So if your life depended on victory, you have to run a 100-yard race against either a sixth grader or against your own 11-yard dog. So can you outrun George now?
In a straight race, maybe not. No.
100 yards.
No.
How old is George?
4, but he's like,
he's young.
You're assuming like he's like chasing a tennis ball 100 yards.
He's going to run max out for 100 yards.
He is going to absolutely smoke me.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that young. He's a King George, so he's a tiny dog. Yeah. I was telling Breech, my dog's 13. He has 2 working legs now, but he's 11. He probably would beat me over 100 yards. But a sixth grader, like sixth graders are insanely, there's some good athletic sixth graders. Now, if you're getting one that plays video games all the time, maybe that's a better chance. So I don't know. I need more details here, but
sixth grader
in general,
the answer is a sixth grader just because like a sixth grader, you're not winning either one of them.
That's a concern.
I think you got a better chance of beating a sixth grader, like a random sixth grader, than beating like a random. Now, if you get an old dog, obviously it's over.
Well, all the dogs are 11, but if you get a not in good shape 11-year-old dog.
But like, a dog's top speed? Like a German Shepherd can go 30 miles an hour.
Well, right, and you've grown up with labs your whole life. I could outrun my yellow lab when he was little from age 8 weeks to age 12 weeks, and after that it was over. I couldn't outrun him anymore. And that was
30 slowest dog breeds in the world. So
This is where we are now.
Also look up the 30 slowest sixth graders and we'll compare.
All right, let's see. I think the King Charles Cavalier is on the slowest dog list. My God.
Yeah, but he's still a dog. It's the point.
All right, so the English Mastiff is the slowest, is the number one ranked slow dog on this list. Top speed 12 miles an hour.
And they're enormous.
A sixth grader is not running 12 miles an hour. Think about it. You're on the treadmill and you put the treadmill on 10. That's 10 miles an hour, and you feel like you're about to go flying off if you're in good shape.
No,
so
I think you're a little wrong there. Like I know what
I'm a big treadmill.
Well, go ahead. Let Debo. What do you say?
Debo's about to shut Brinson down here.
I mean, just like top speed for like Olympic sprint, like they'll hit 24 miles per hour. But like even as much as I want to just crush Brinson for not running a sub 540, like he could hit 14 miles an hour right now.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying like if you're running 10 miles an hour is like a dead like I've done that on a. Oh, sorry, I just hit my. I mean, like you can run 10 miles an hour as an adult. Like I'm looking at this, the maximum speed attained by 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds were like,
it's in meters per second.
Oh God!
I was trying to do the conversion.
Wow, that's so slow. At age 13, you can reach a top speed of 22 miles per hour. If
that's what like. I think there's a fine line between like sixth grader and eighth grader. Like I say that like for basketball as well. Like I think I could beat most sixth graders in basketball. They would
eighth graders, you're starting to get smoked by a bunch of
it's a different story. Yeah, I'm smoking all sixth graders in 100 yards. Like if I'm lucky with the draw, there's 2% that could beat me in a race in 100 yards, but there's
no, that sounds right.
60 like 80% of dogs, I feel like 11-year-old dogs.
Oh, I think it's like, I think 11-year-old dogs is a whole different ballgame though.
But it depends. Like my dog 2 years ago was in much better shape than now. I think he beats me, but I think he beats me more often than I beat the sixth grader. Like I'm more frequently beating the sixth grader, I feel like. And a lot of like
I would much rather race of a random sixth grader. Like you just
I agree.
You get 1,000 sixth graders and 1,000 dogs, and it's just like they're just totally randomly selected. And you pull. I think you have a much better chance of beating the random sixth grader than the random.
That's
dog.
right. I think based on my son who's 15 and his buddies, most of them hadn't hit puberty by age 12, sixth grade. They're all still little, and they're all now. Most of them are taller than me, and obviously faster and stronger than I am.
And you also might in sixth grade, you like kind of you're hitting these growth spurts where you're like you could be awkward. Like you could be like there's just not a ton of like super athletic sixth graders.
What about you're racing a sixth grader, but the last 20 yards you have to run backwards?
Oh, you probably lose.
He's probably beating me then.
Yeah,
last 10 yards. You're trying to change it up. I feel like we're all pretty confident we could beat a sixth grader.
I'm not confident we can, but I think we all agreed that we think we can.
That's true.
But I think Brinson's.
Oh, here you go. Molly P's in the chat. She has a 10, a 12, and a 17-year-old. She's true, Debo. My 10-year-old I could outrun no problem. The 12-year-old would be harder. 17-year-old smoked me in a race, and I'm a runner.
Oh,
so like that's the big. You just said 6 to 10 to 12 to 17 is just a massive like jump in athletic skill set, and sort of you become comfortable in your body.
I have a 10-year-old as well, and to Breech's point, and to your point, actually, Brinson, he is tall and gangly and clumsy. I could run 100 yards backwards, Breech, and beat him easily. Like they wouldn't even be close. He'd fall down 3 times.
Can you imagine one of us showing up to an elementary school and be like, "Hey, do you have any sixth graders we can race?"
I mean, that's what happened when I ran that 40. We showed up to like this high school with like I'm gonna wear a mustache and like a Club Trill shirt and short running shorts, and we're like, "Hey,
ran an 8-second 40." We remember.
I ran what?
An 8-second 40. We all remember the story.
You're so jealous of my time.
All right, that's the would you rather. That's not a terrible one.
That's a pretty good one.
Doesn't come close to the one that the Falcons stole, but not bad.
Hey,
all right,
the Falcons gave us all the credit they needed to give.
The Falcons borrowed from Brinson, who came up with it. Is that what you're trying to say, Wilson?
Clearly, of course. All right, what are the questions? And Debo said this is going to be a tight podcast. Let's make it tight.
Real tight. This is the final preseason mailbag.
Sad.
Kitten Romney asked at Kitten Romney on Twitter, what is the Bears' ceiling this season if Justin Fields is actually awesome? Related, just how dumb is Brinson's theory that somehow Eberflus wants to tank for another quarterback just to get another rookie quarterback to start in year 2 and face a win, or else year 3? First of all, that's not my theory.
It is, but it is one that you say every year, so it is incredibly stupid. It's not even original. Whose theory is it? Every year you say so-and-so's tanking for this quarterback.
I suggested that the Bears might not like Justin Fields and might be fine if their team stinks this year. That's all I said.
That's a close derivative to what the questioner was asking. And
I said some people, I didn't even say I think that. I said some people are wondering.
Oh, people are saying you're that guy?
No, is it? It's unnecessary. People are asking, is it possible that the Bears
stop it? Go ahead.
Bears' new regime doesn't buy in on Justin Fields and wants to, move in a different direction? Like, is that possible?
I suppose,
I would
but
posit that yes, it is possible.
Doug might feel that way about Trevor Lawrence, but it feels awfully premature to be talking about that right now. Let me put the question to you this way. I'll ask Breech because he's less crazy than you. Breech, is it more likely that the Bears are awesome this year, or that they move on from Justin Fields at the end of the season?
Wait, what?
Is it more likely, based on Kit and Romney's question, that
the
Bears
more likely
Bears are awesome this year, as Romney's asking, or that they end up moving on from Justin Fields, which is what?
Well, if Justin Fields is awesome, because the question is asking how good could their record be if Fields is awesome, and I feel like
make a choice.
Right, I feel like I don't think they're gonna have a winning record. So, but I also don't think they're gonna replace him. They're not. This isn't a Josh Rosen situation. They've put absolutely nothing around Justin Fields. So
you were going full on Spanky McWagner McGuff. This
no,
today.
I mean, the question doesn't make sense.
Of course it does. All right, let's see. So
you're saying my theory doesn't make sense, or the question doesn't make sense?
I said
my question makes plenty of sense. My question, I'll ask you then, Brinson. I was trying to give Breech the benefit of the doubt to blip my face. Would you rather more likely to happen that the Bears are awesome, or that Justin Fields, the team looks to move on from him after the end of the season?
I think it's more likely that they would move on.
That seems like a pretty straightforward question. I'm not sure what Breech is confused about. No matter what your answer is.
I think it's more likely that they'd be awesome.
That question. What is the Bears' ceiling if Justin Fields is awesome? I don't think it's not 10.
No.
It's like 7 or 8.
So they open with the 49ers. I'll go through
They have a really easy schedule. And if he's awesome, if he is just.
Is it easy though?
Yeah, I think it's like really easy, right, Breech?
Well, they play the AFC East.
Bears? They open up with the 49ers and Packers.
Yeah, they play the AFC East.
It's not their whole schedule. They're going to play the Packers twice.
Well, I'm just saying they might start 0-2.
Right.
I mean, I'm not suggesting they're going to win the Super Bowl.
And they play the NFC East, I think. Yeah, the NFC East. They play the NFC, the AFC East.
Pretty easy schedule.
Well, they finished with the Eagles, Bills, Lions, and Vikings. I mean, that feels like maybe one win there.
Okay, let's say that Justin Fields is what is awesome Justin Fields? What does that look like? Is it like a poor man's version of 2019 Lamar Jackson?
Jalen Hurts last year?
I think that's close, Jalen Hurts. I think a little better than Jalen Hurts last year.
Okay, so better than that's not okay.
Well, that's what I say, a little better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts got better as the year went on, but Justin needs to do more.
So so he's going to have like close to a 3,000, 1,000 season. I mean, that would be awesome.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, let's say he has a 3,000, 1,000 season. At that point, nobody's even thinking about moving on if he runs for 1,000 yards and throws passes for 3,500 or whatever.
Right.
And I think regardless, they probably still lose the first 2 games. We'll give him a win against Houston, a win at the Giants. Like if he's awesome, they're going to win those 2 games. They're 2-2. I think they're 3-3 after at Minnesota and Washington at home. 3-4 at New England. If he's awesome, can they beat the Cowboys? Or do they lose at Dallas?
They lose.
They can win that game. I mean, who knows what offensive line looks like?
Okay, so they're 3-4. We'll say 4-4. They beat the Dolphins and the Lions at home, so that would be 6-4. They win at Atlanta and at the Jets, right? If he's awesome,
definitely
that'd be 8-4. I think we give him a loss at the Cowboys, by the way. But
okay, that's fine. Yeah. Sure.
And then do they beat I think they still lose to the Packers at home. So 8-5. Philly at home after the bye, win or loss if Justin Fields is awesome.
Loss.
Okay. Bills at home, loss, even if he's awesome. At Lions, Vikings at home. How do they close? Because they're 8-8 at that point.
1-1.
No, they're 8-7 at that point. Sorry, 1-1. So 9-8 is their ceiling if Justin Fields is awesome.
That feels like the
absolute like if they go 9-8 this year, Matty Plus is winning Coach of the Year.
Yes, so bet that.
Yeah, if you, I mean, look, I think that's a long shot, even if he's like amazing.
Which speaks less about him and more about everything around him.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like if they go 9-8, then Justin Fields, you draft some stuff around him next, and the Bears would. And again, like, but if they go 4-13, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they have the top overall pick. Or they go 3-14, it's not that crazy that they would look at the draft and maybe think about taking somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not willing to go that far.
I'm not willing to go that far.
It's just a different regime and a different head coach. Like that's the whole thing has been turned.
But here's what you won't say: if the Jaguars and Doug win 4 football games, they're not looking to move on from Trevor Lawrence next year.
No.
Yeah. So why is Justin Herbert any different?
Justin Fields.
Yeah, exactly. I only have eyes for one Justin, but right, Justin Fields.
Well, I mean, I think Lawrence is a little different than Justin Fields.
Why?
First overall pick.
Yeah. I mean, the Bears traded up to get Fields. They gave up a lot of capital to get him.
Yeah, I mean, why would they sit on him if they think he's not the guy? That's my point.
Because
good one. All right, what does the Hindu 81 want to ask you?
He wants to ask. Hey guys.
Mailbag.
Hindu 81 on Twitter. Hey guys, not too long of a listener, but a big fan. Thank you for jumping on board the Pick Six bandwagon. Looking forward to the start of the NFL season. I'm a longtime Bills fan. My question: if the Bills make it to the Super Bowl and lose, is the season a success or a failure? What about a loss in the AFC Championship game? Thanks. This is a really good question.
Let me ask Breech this. Was last year's season a success or failure for the Bengals, in your opinion?
For the Bengals?
Yeah.
It was a all-around success, 1,000% success.
Even winning one playoff, after the Titans game, it was considered a success, probably, right?
After the Raiders game, it was a success.
Oh, right, the Raiders game, sorry.
Winning beating the Chiefs in December and winning the division was almost a success, but if they would have lost a playoff game. So after they beat the Raiders, I consider it a successful season.
So I think any team, except for maybe the undefeated Patriots getting in the Super Bowl and losing, maybe the Chiefs the last time they lost against the Buccaneers, maybe it's an upset. But I think if the Bills get the Super Bowl and lose, it's going to be a huge disappointment. But the reality is maybe still considered a success for being trying to be sort of analytical about it.
Well, the Bengals is just different though, because the Bengals, I just
want to get one perspective of a team that's sort of not in the same place the Bills are right now.
I think the Bills losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game would be a pretty disappointing outcome for Buffalo fans.
It was. Let me ask you this: was that a failure last year? Then I think the way they lost made it a failure.
I think they took a step forward by having. Well, they weren't in the AFC Championship game though, I guess. Okay.
But I think if they had lost that game,
I think last year was a disappointment. There's gonna be different things.
If they had lost that game 40-0, this season would have been thought a success. That they lost the way they did, I think the season almost ultimately felt like a failure because they should have gotten to the AFC Championship game. And then all Bills fans are saying, "Well, the Bengals are the Bengals. We're definitely going to the Super Bowl," and you have that conversation.
I think Bills fans are looking at this as this is such a window of opportunity for them.
Right. That's what we've been talking about, expectations the whole time. And I wonder how much that weighs into it. I think anything short of a Super Bowl appearance is a failure. Is that fair?
I think I agree with that. Because if you get to the AFC title, you're the Super Bowl favorite. You have probably the best roster in the AFC. And if you only make it to the AFC title game, you've already been to the AFC title game. You did that in 2020. You blew it last year with the 13 seconds. And so I think that if you don't get to the Super Bowl, and you can lose the Super Bowl and still consider it a success, but you have to get to the Super Bowl.
I think that's
they can't lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs. How about that?
Yes, that's
they can't lose in the playoffs.
No. You can that would be disappointing to lose in the playoffs. But like if it feels like they really need to get past, like when you take over the Bills, like Sean McDermott did, there's two obstacles in your way that you have to sort of take care of in order to.
They took care of one of them.
The Patriots. They dethroned the Patriots. They now run the AFC East.
They pantsed them too.
The next step, they pantsed them. The next step is to get past the Chiefs. And I don't think that it's not easy to do, like.
Did they beat them in the regular season last year handily? I can't remember. Or did that not happen?
Handily, but I think they
That was the Bengals.
That was the Bills rolled the Chiefs in the regular season.
I thought that
they
was
did.
okay.
Yeah, right.
So so that's halfway there. So again, to your point, yeah, you can't lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs. But I think the other point is that you can't lose to anyone in the playoffs unless you're in the Super Bowl. Otherwise, it's a failure of a season, or maybe better.
I just don't know if it's like failure necessarily.
Disappointment. I was going to say disappointment.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. Yeah, like there's just a lot of pathways for the Bills to.
Oh boy.
Well, you could get the number one seed. I mean, if the playoffs can get really random, is all I'm saying.
Well, let me put it to you this way: what other team is in the same conversation as the Bills that should they lose in the conference championship game, their season is considered a failure / disappointment? I think the Bills are at the top of that list. Even the Chiefs, because now they're sort of not rebuilding, but without Tyreek Hill, questions on defense with young players, so on and so forth. I don't think there's any other team. The Packers routinely don't make it to the Super Bowl, so it would just be another year of coming up short. I think the Bills are the only team.
I think that the Packers, you could say anything short of a Super Bowl is a disappointing season.
Yeah, I think the Packers, qualify as well.
You think?
Yeah,
they've been disappointing for a lot recently. Then
they're quite disappointing. I mean,
okay, no, that's a good question. So I think Breech and I agree, and Brinson is a little more lenient in terms of what.
I just think that sometimes they can go 14-3, be the number one seed, make it to the playoffs, and you just get an unlucky draw against it,
Well, that's a failure.
What's that?
That's a failure, right? Like last year's Titans team.
I think the Bills would internally tell you that anything less of winning the Super Bowl is a disappointing season.
But would you agree that the Titans last year, the team that won the division, had 12 wins? That's a huge a huge failure of a season, the way they finished.
It doesn't make the season a failure. It makes it a disappointing close of the season. And
Breech,
that's all that matters is what happens at the end of the season. I'm just saying that I think if the Bills don't make the Super Bowl, people will say it's a very disappointing season.
Breech, do you think the Titans had a failure of a season last year with the way it ended? And
I think that Titans fans were upset with the way the season ended.
Okay. Yeah, failure's a strong word, but that's the word that the Hindu 81 used. But I think disappointment, somewhere between failure and disappointment, might be a better word.
Yeah,
right in the middle.
I think
that's the corner of failure and disappointment.
Failure is a tough one because it's like, how can you be a failure if you win 14 or 15 games and then, I mean, yeah, it's a.
Sounds like we've triggered the NC State fan Breech.
Oh God, man! I think you could like, if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, the first playoff game they play, then
that's what the Titans did. Titans did that.
You just can't lose to the Chiefs. How about that?
Yeah, I think you have to get the Super Bowl. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's probably all right. Yeah. I think if they don't go to the Super Bowl, it'll be like, what are we doing here? Okay.
All right. @Stub67 has a question.
Oh boy.
@Stub67 from Twitter says, which team has the quote unquote best player roster, excluding coaches, etc.? Interesting.
I think you say that when you want the answer to be the Cowboys.
Up high, down hard.
But I mean, is it not the Bills? Like, God, the Bills are stacked, dude.
The Bills are the Chargers?
Chargers are in there. I think they're both ahead of the Chiefs for me. Breech, who do you want to say?
I mean, I would put who you guys just said at the top of the list. I do think you could make an argument for maybe Tampa Bay. I mean, I know that we've all the problems that it's literally left guard and center. So there's two spots. But other than that, I mean, they're pretty stacked. And obviously, two key spots in the offensive line is not where you want to have issues.
What about tired of the injuries to the offensive line? I mean, definitely.
What about San Francisco or the Raiders? Or would you put either of those in the conversation for top?
Raiders?
I love the Raiders.
You have them win the division?
No.
Most complete?
You talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, the ones with Derek Carr?
That team.
Or the Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I mean, what is it that you love about the Raiders secondary?
Let me see who's on there first. Rock Ya-Sin, I don't love. Nate Hobbs is okay.
I don't think the Raiders are in the discussion for most complete roster.
No, they're not. I try to sell myself on Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels, who I love.
I think the Chargers have a very good argument for it.
What about the 49ers, though? The quarterback is the biggest concern. I think everything else is probably comparable in terms of.
Quarterback's a huge concern, though. I mean,
yeah.
All right, here's one for you guys. I don't want to be sound biased, but how about the Cincinnati Bengals?
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Well, they're starting a rookie in the offensive line because Jackson.
I think you
Jackson
can you can definitely make the case that the Bengals have a very good defensive team across the board.
I mean, Eli Apple's a starting cornerback, Breech.
The question is the offensive line. Is the offensive line good enough to put the Bengals in that conversation?
This offensive line is 200% better than they were a year ago, even with Cordell Wilson starting. I think that's a huge part of the success. Defense is actually really good. I do. Eli Apple's a concern. I mean, Uzi is good. He's not great though. Breech, I think you would agree with that. Like he's solid, right?
I think he's above solid. I think he is better than what the Bengals thought they were getting when they signed him.
I think that's right. I agree with that. They do have Dax Hill and who I like coming out. Mike Hilton, the former Steeler, played pretty well last year. How's Von Bell been?
Von Bell's good. He's been he's your veteran leader, man. That's the guy you need back there. And to have Jesse Bates too, obviously coming back on the franchise tag. I mean, they're set at safety.
I think they're in the top 5 in terms of best player teams. I think that's true.
Do the Packers have a case here at all?
Pete loves their defense. He's like, this is the best defense in the history of mankind. I think the issue is wide receiver. Offensive lines is good. I don't think it's great. Bakhtiari's coming back. Tight end is Tanyan. Maybe the tight ends don't matter. Mercedes Lewis, just because of the quarterback. Aaron Jones is obviously really, really good, but I think that the weakest part is the wide receiver. But maybe that doesn't matter because the quarterback will make up for it. Kicker's a huge concern on this Packers team, by the way. We don't talk about special teams nearly enough, according to Breech, but I would be concerned about Mason Crosby in December, January. As Brinson laughs while doing his fantasy football draft.
I'm texting with my son. He likes to text me gifts.
That's what Brinson says when he is doing fantasy football.
Caught red-handed it yet again. So Breech, I won't hate on you for the Bengals being there.
Wilson.
I actually would put the Bengals ahead of the Packers in terms of depth.
What?
Well, the wide receivers.
I brainwashed you? What just happened?
So, the Bills, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Packers, 49ers.
Browns have a case?
No, they do not. Just because of the
Browns. Not as long as Jacoby Brissett is their starting quarterback.
If you traded the Browns to any team in the league, they would be a top 5 team, but just because they were in the Browns outfit.
Their roster is really good.
But we've been saying that for years. Every year they slap us in the face.
What about the Ravens?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think the Ravens pass catchers are kind of like people are dogging on them. It's like you got Mark Andrews, and then Rashad Bateman could have people are expecting a big year out of Rashad Bateman.
I mean, I guess we'll see. Isaiah Likely, I think, is a more interesting.
Isaiah Likely. What?
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman? What are you talking about?
No, in terms of breakout potential. Like you just never.
No, Rashad Bateman's much more likely to break out than Likely.
All right, clip it. All right, let's.
The backup tight end is more likely to break out than the former first-round pick. Who's
you do understand that they played like 3 tight ends on the field almost all the time.
Okay, we'll see. So you think Isaiah Likely has better numbers than Rashad Bateman?
That's what you said. I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said keep it on Isaiah Likely.
Outrageous.
I like Rashad Bateman. I just that they don't feature those wide receivers. That's my concern in Baltimore.
Fair.
That is fair.
Breech, I think we should take a break.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do a few more
Mailbag
questions next. I got too much going on.
Your life.
At Ken Maestro on Twitter says Jordan Whitehead said the Jets have playmakers in every position group outside of the uncertainty that is Zach Wilson. Is that true? And are the Jets being underrated this year because they're the Jets?
I think they are being underrated. We did the podcast about the over-unders and the odds previously, and the Jets were at the bottom in terms of where Caesars thinks they'll finish record-wise.
Mm-hmm.
6.5. I don't know what the official over-under is, but I'm going to say 6.5 over-under wins. I'm banging the over. Again, just like we talked about with Trey Lance, this all comes down to Zach Wilson, who may play week 1, probably not. But otherwise, they have a lot of really good players. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims finally showed up in that final preseason game. Breece Hall, we've talked about. The offensive line, I think, will be better, even though they lost Mekhi Becton. They did sign Dwayne Brown. The defense, Brinson, you were talking about Carl Lawson coming back from injury. They drafted Jermaine Johnson. We'll see how he goes as a year 1 guy. Sauce Gardner, Breech loves as a possible defensive rookie of the year. So I think there's an opportunity for this team to be certainly a lot better than folks for some reason are giving credit for. Over under 6.5. What are you doing?
I would go over, but I would.
Oh, there we go. Breech, you going to jump on board?
I mean, I could see it. I just don't trust Zach Wilson though.
I agree.
0% trust him.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna give the. I just feel like Robert Saleh has to be different than all the other. Who was his predecessor? Was that Todd Bowles?
Adam Gase, man.
Adam Gase. Holy crap! I couldn't even remember who was his predecessor. So it was Bowles and Gase, and then now Robert Saleh. I feel like Robert Saleh. He feels like he might have some answers to the questions that no one.
They've had, and then Rex Ryan and Eric Mangini before that.
I mean, Rex Ryan went to 2 AFC Championship games in a row.
Yeah,
I mean, that's true.
That team had a great defense,
and then never had a winning record in New York again.
2009. The real problem is, I mean, like Gase, obviously never. I mean, but like the problem has been these GMs haven't done a good job. The question is Joe Douglas going to do a good enough job? That
roster is good, man. Like,
I'm
trying to think who else. Michael Clemens, the rookie they drafted, had a really good August. John Franklin Myers is good. Quentin Williams, we haven't even talked about.
The issue is like it's almost and this is unfair to Zach Wilson, but it doesn't feel remotely easy to decide if Zach Wilson can take a leap forward.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I don't even know.
Like he definitely could.
Let me ask you this, and I don't even know the answer. Like I don't have a good feeling about this. Will he have a better, equal to, or worse than career than Sam Darnold? Like, I don't even know.
I would say better. I mean, it's hard to get worse than Sam Darnold.
But do you feel great about that?
No, but like,
yeah, that's my point. Like, it's not like Trevor Lawrence. You would say 100% it's going to be better than Sam Darnold. Sure. Yes. Justin Fields, I would even say, yeah, I think he'll be better than Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson, I have no idea based on what I saw last year. You'd like to think so, but
he had some really, really bad games.
Yeah, so that is the sticking point, and I hope he does well, and so on and so forth. But that is the biggest question, more so than I think the Trey Lance, more so than I think the Justin Fields. It's Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean it's just hard to
get
it's hard to get a grip on or get a grasp on how I feel about Zach Wilson.
Yeah, so I'm banging 6.5 over.
I like the upside of the Jets. The Bills in the division, the Dolphins look like it wouldn't be crazy if the Jets finishes the second or third team in that division.
I was going to ask you, what are the odds they finish somewhere other than fourth?
I don't know if you can.
Well, just the Brinson odds.
I'll say second. They finish second. First in the division is like 30-1 for me.
No, anywhere but fourth. What are those odds?
Anywhere but fourth. Plus 250.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Would you take?
I would probably take that. It just they do seem.
I think it'd be better than the Patriots. Like that wouldn't be that crazy.
God, the poor Patriots. Come on, Mac Jones.
It just seems like they could sneak up on some people.
I think so. But again, that comes down to Zach Wilson. Brinson just fell out of his chair. Look at that.
And Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco in Week 1 against the Ravens.
Did you see Joe Flacco talking on Jets TV about how his kids thinks he sucks as a player?
That's great.
He was like telling us.
The question was, but it was like the Jets have playmakers at every position group.
Elijah Moore.
Let's examine that and see if that is true.
Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis.
I think he's saying like every so it's undoubtedly true at the wide receiver position, even if you just want to say Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
like
running back. They have Michael Carter and Breece Hall. I think check that.
I think that qualifies.
Yeah.
Quarterback's the question. We just talked about that, but they have Dwayne Brown.
Wilson is a playmaker.
Yeah, but okay, let's put quarterback aside. Dwayne Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, who's
the offensive linemen count as playmakers.
Let me ask you guys this: if the Jets traded for Jimmy Garoppolo right now, could they get in the playoffs?
No.
Yes.
I know.
Ooh.
I would move the 6.5 up to
I would have them as my number 2 team in that division.
Woo!
Okay. Well, there's your question. Okay. Carl Lawson's a playmaker. He's healthy. Quentin Williams is a playmaker on the inside. Sauce Gardner, I think we'll agree he's a playmaker.
Yeah. Secondary definitely has playmakers.
Yeah, safety. I mean, Jordan Whitehead, Lamar.
I guess we have to keep Jordan Whitehead. He's the one who said that they have playmakers in every position group.
So yeah, I think that
I don't think that statement's false.
Right. To Breech's point, if you put the quarterback on it that you feel good about, then this team transforms.
So I think yes. if you, and again, the question said, outside of the uncertainty that is Zach Wilson, is that true? And are the Jets being underrated this year because of the Jets? So
yes,
I think
if the Jets and Bills switch quarterbacks, who wins the division?
The
I mean,
Jets.
the Jets.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say that about any team if you give them Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers or.
Yeah, but like,
okay, if Josh Allen was playing for the Falcons, do they win that division?
They win 9 games.
They don't win the division.
No. They won 7 games last year with Matt Ryan getting blasted every other play. They might win that division.
It would be a possibility. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Great question. I'll let you pronounce this next name.
Great question. Question of the year on the last mailbag, right?
By the way, quickly, let me ask you this. Hold on. Are you betting UCL this year, Brinson? Or are you not doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Some Paramount Plus. I didn't know if you'd started yet because
has it started? Is the UCL started?
Today's the first day.
Oh, dang! Didn't Chelsea just lose?
Chelsea just lost. Erling Haaland just scored for Man City. I'm watching that against Sevilla. So I didn't know if you were doing that. Anyway, watch on Paramount Plus. All right, go to the question.
Oh yeah. Has there ever been a season where the first and the last games are played by the same 2 teams? That's a great question. Like this year, if the Super Bowl is Bills Rams, if not, how about a Super Bowl between the 2 teams who played each other week 1? Also, there's never been a Super Bowl with 2 bird teams in it, which is something I threw out on Dave Damashek's podcast. That's a fact only I know.
I don't know. Breech knows a lot about birds. I feel like he stole.
Yeah, guess where Brinson stole that fact from?
I knew it.
Wilson.
I knew it.
Yep.
Because bird facts are Breech.
I actually gave you credit for it, Breech, and he said, and Shaq was like, "Whoa, that is kind of like in my wheelhouse of stuff we talk about."
Did you tell him I'm into ornithology?
And he's like, "I'm not sure." He's like, I'd have to research it. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I'll just take you on your word for it. I was like, well, in full disclosure, I didn't look either. I just took Breech at his word for it.
Can you imagine having a conversation with someone and say, "Oh, by the way, did you know that Breech is into ornithology?"
Yeah, no, not at all.
My little glasses. I go out and look at birds. It's great.
Yeah, that's what you're doing with your glasses.
Looking at something.
Yeah.
So what's the answer to this question, Breech?
The answer to this question is since the NFL kickoff game started in 2002, it hasn't happened because this is only like the 3rd time there's been an opening game that is an AFC team versus an NFC team. So really, it's been pretty much impossible. You had Broncos Panthers in 2016, but that was a Super Bowl rematch, same game from whatever 7 months earlier.
Yeah.
And then you had Colts Saints in 2007 that actually was 2 years early, but ended up being the Super Bowl in 2009. But before that, there was no distinguished kickoff game. So the first game was Sunday at 1 p.m. So there was no quote unquote first game of the season because you had 8 games kicking off at the same time.
Yeah. So the week 1 thing has probably happened, but we'd have to. I mean, if you just go back far enough, but I don't know for sure. But the first matchup of the year has never happened before.
I think the 2009 Titan. I don't remember that Titans Steelers game. That was Big Ben got suspended the 2010 season to begin that. So Kerry Collins was probably the quarterback. Fun. All right.
Oh wait, hold on. Let's see.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, no, that's not helpful. I thought at 1970.
Oh gosh, even I wasn't alive for that.
Yeah. So 1970 was. Oh, technically, was that even a Super Bowl, or is that just AFL, NFL?
Yeah, no, it was Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. No, but the week 1 matchup has never happened. There's a decent chance that it happens this year. How about the fact that we're on this heater of 2 straight years where a quarterback has changed teams and won the Super Bowl in his first season, and 2 straight years where the winning team played in their own home stadium? Like, that's crazy. That stuff never happened, and now it happened 2 years in a row.
Cliff Kingsbury, got some bad news for you.
All right, and here's my question then, since you just brought those up. What has a better chance of getting the 3 years in a row? The home team winning the Super Bowl, or a quarterback switching teams and winning Super Bowl with their new team?
Yep.
Well, the odds tell you very easily that it is the new quarterback, because you have a lot more new quarterbacks, and it's just like, what are the Cardinals' odds, right?
And Breech has already said that he's got Russell
You got Russell with the Broncos. You got Matt Ryan with the Colts. That's why Breech is all over these.
Mitch Trubisky with the Steelers.
All over it.
Mitch Trubisky with the Steelers. You have Carson Wentz with the Commanders.
Why are you laughing?
You're laughing. I wasn't laughing.
All right. Last question. Let's go.
Um,
Zach Mitchell 97 has a question.
okay. Zach Mitchell 97. If every division had to make a Pro Bowl roster, which division would be at the top and which division would be at the bottom?
So the worst team, the worst division, I think, is the AFC South. But would they have the worst team of this 8-team league?
Yes.
Stands
Your quarterback's Matt Ryan.
I would go with Trevor Lawrence for sure.
Okay, your quarterback's
you have
Trevor
a good
Lawrence.
offensive line. You have a really good offensive line. Laramie Tunsil, Quentin Nelson.
Now, let's do this first. Let's just pick the quarterbacks out of each division and go from there. So the AFC East, Buffalo, the Josh Allen, right?
Yep.
Are you taking Lamar or Joe Burrow?
I'm taking Lamar, but if Breech wants us to take Burrow, I don't care.
Who are you taking, Breech?
We
Are
know
you
who
gonna
I'm taking. Joe Burrow.
I'm fine with Burrow. Burrow's a stud.
All right, let's do Burrow. That's fine. Matt Ryan in the South. In the West, good Lord. I guess you have to take Mahomes. I mean, I would Justin Herbert. I would.
See, the problem with the West is you're like, oh, the West is so stacked, and you probably do end up with the best overall roster, but like
You need to trade some players.
But you're having to get rid of like you have to cut 3 of the 15 best quarterbacks in football.
But you have Patrick Mahomes throwing to Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. Like you just have a loaded
and you have like
skill group.
Rashawn Slater. You have
All right, so
line. Yeah.
that's the best team. That's the best team without a doubt. All right,
And
in the East, you have
defensively, like you have to get rid of like one of Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. I guess you can keep them all on there in theory.
You didn't mention Bradley Chubb, disrespectful.
Bradley Chubb, Chris Jones. I mean, there's
NFC East. Who's is it? It's Dak. Sorry, I forgot to go down to the Cowboys. Dak, and then Aaron Rodgers, and then Tom Brady. Excuse me, in the South, and then
Trey Lance or Matthew Stafford.
I think I would take
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Okay, so I think the AFC West is clear cut number 1. Number 2. Oh boy, is it the AFC North? No, it's AFC East, right?
In terms of the quarterback or just
the eight league team that we now have.
Well, so, all right, so let's think about the offense for the AFC East is Josh Allen throwing to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Steph
Diggs.
Oh my God.
This running
Davis, that is nasty.
Yeah. So
and then, did you throw Elijah Moore on there too out of the slot? I mean, this is pretty loaded.
Just make up the team of Bills.
Is the offensive line good enough of the AFC East? That would be my one concern.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you have.
I think the AFC North's offensive line is probably better.
And
you have all the Cleveland guys. You have, Ronnie Stanley if he's healthy.
Yeah, but you still have Josh Allen, those playmakers. The AFC North wide receivers are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. The defense will be
really. Andrews at tight end.
The defense will be, insanely good. That's the only time the Steelers can contribute.
I think I'm going AFC North second.
Breech, or you? AFC North or AFC East second behind the AFC West?
There's more stars.
North.
Okay, that's fine. And then AFC East, and then
is the AFC East definitely the third? I get that Josh Allen puts you up there, but I don't know that.
Let's see. Oh, what about the NFC? So you have Dak under center.
Yep.
You have
AJ Brown,
CeeDee Lamb.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You have
CeeDee Lamb and
Devonta Smith,
Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, 2 tight end offense.
You have Scary Terry.
Yeah.
You have Saquon if you want to use him, or Zeke, whatever your choice is there.
I think the NFC West, by the way, is probably the third best.
Could be. This is incredibly difficult. I think the
you
best
got Stafford, Cooper Kupp. You got Hopkins when he comes back. You have the 49ers offensive line. The Seahawks have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to offer you. I mean, like you got a lot of options. Feels like defensively that's you got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Like it feels like defensively that might be the third best overall team or overall division.
Yeah, but the issue is how much does good defense stop Hall of Fame playmakers in today's NFL?
I'm just saying, like, you want a balanced team, and I think the NFC North or the NFC West is better than the AFC East.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you're not going to get it's close. I think the thing for me is the AFC West is the best. The AFC South is the worst.
Is the NFC South like secretly better than people give it credit for because you have Brady in that you have some good offensive linemen and you can pull, whether it's DJ Moore, Michael Thomas, Kyle Pitts.
This feels like team number 7.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
This feels like the
Chris
7th
Godwin
best.
might even play in week 1. He's injured.
Yeah.
Are we going by
is the
current
NFC
player
South
health?
definitely worse why is the NFC North that much? I guess they have Justin. Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers gets wide receivers from the other teams.
We get Tom Brady gets wide receivers. I mean, like
Yeah.
you get Justin Jefferson and like and Amon St. Brown. I mean, it's not like they're. Are you
What
going
are
to
you
get
talking
Darnell Mooney?
Are you serious?
I mean, I like Darnell Mooney, but I mean, it's not like you're pulling like. I mean,
Justin Jefferson, Jalen Rager. I'm Ross St. Brown. You get Hawkinson, you get Komet, you get Aaron Jones is already there. You get
really
Dalvin Cook.
The Hawk, the Komet angle.
Oh, I was making fun of the Bears for being terrible, and Prisco and Hassel were saying that's disrespectful to Mooney and Komet. I was like, all right, so
I mean, they're yeah. I mean, like, but that's like you don't want them to be your number ones.
no, of course not. I don't know. I think if you give Aaron Rodgers a couple of receivers over what he has, he automatically.
I'm just saying that, like, all right. So what's worse? So it's either AFC South or
AFC South's definitely last for me.
Yes.
There's no argument.
it's like easy.
It feels.
I mean,
easy.
who else is in the conversation for that?
That's
There's
what
no
I'm
one
saying.
else.
It's either the AFC East.
No.
The
Get
NFC
Josh Allen.
South. Okay.
And you have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Steph Diggs. How's that?
You're just naming like fantasy stars. Like you need to have to build.
Yeah,
like,
but they're fantasy stars because it turns out they're really good football players.
I know that, but I'm saying like you have to build out a full team.
Okay, but for the purposes of the podcast, we don't have that opportunity. But I can fill in the blanks and feel comfortable with what we just talked about. The Jets being a Super Bowl contender. Just put all the Jets on the team with Josh Allen.
I mean, it's pretty. I think it's pretty fair to say that like the AFC South is the worst Pro Bowl roster.
Okay.
Yes.
you agree?
That's what we're
Yeah.
trying to do. We're trying to answer the question here.
Okay, well, yeah, that you agree with me in Breech. AFC West is the best.
So we talked about all the middle. This guy just wanted to know which one would be the top and which one would be the bottom.
AFC West, AFC South.
We dug through the middle.
Yeah, you have to clear out the middle to get to the top and bottom. Molly P asked in the chat, who would be your coaches for each of those? That's a good one. So you have to go Belichick still in the AFC East, right?
Oh, I was thinking Andy Reid was the first one that popped in my mind.
No, I'm going division by division. So AFC East, Belichick.
All right,
Yeah,
who's
so-
AFC North?
Oh,
No, is anyone taking Zach Taylor?
No. Breach would try and pretend that you would.
No, I think it's still a tough debate between Tomlin and Harbaugh.
Yeah.
It's not Zach Taylor. I'm fine with that.
Okay, no, that's fine. It's between those two guys.
It's not Zach Taylor. I'm fine with
But
it.
I don't think it's an easy answer.
It's not. I'll go with
It's not.
Tomlin.
It's Harbaugh or Tomlin, right?
Yeah, I'll take Tomlin, but I'm fine with you guys going the other direction.
I'll take
I'll
Harbaugh,
Harbaugh 'cause
special
I'm-
teams guy.
Plus, you need somebody who can actually beat Bill Belichick.
Who is it?
Down hard.
AFC South is actually incredibly tough.
Frank Reich?
Well,
I'm
Mike
going Vrabel.
What?
I'm going
Doug
Vrabel.
Peterson.
No, I'm
Yeah.
going Vrabel.
I'm going Vrabel. I love Vrabel.
All right, I'm gonna go Doug.
Okay. AFC West. I mean, we're all taking Andy Reid.
Brandon Staley. Duh. All right.
Andy Reid.
NFC East, obviously Mike McCarthy.
My God.
Oh my God, is the answer Nick Sirianni?
I think it might
Ron
be.
Rivera?
No,
Uh-uh.
I think it's Nick Sirianni.
It's either Nick Sirianni or Brian Dable. That's wild. I think
Brian Dable because he has no track record and everybody else.
Debo, any comment on Nick Sirianni being the number one coach in the NFC East? Is he the wait? Hold on.
We've come a long way since
Sorry, baby.
12 months ago.
He's the third longest tenured head coach in his own division. He's the best coach. So.
By the way,
That's
I'm taking Dan Campbell in NFC North. I am not. I remain.
I will take Matt LaFleur, but
I remain unsold on Matt LaFleur.
Wait, you were
he's-
taking Dan Campbell in the North.
don't
Yeah.
fall for that breach.
It's Matt LaFleur.
He's trolling you.
We don't know. Do we know if he's a good coach? In much the same way, do we know
He
Zach
won
Taylor?
13 games 3 straight years. You sound like me 2 years ago.
He's like
After the first time you won
he's like
13 games,
39 and 10 in his career. Like he's just a good coach.
Why? Who won? Who?
I'm
who
not
won
putting him in the great echelon. I don't think he's.
Mike McCarthy didn't win games with Aaron Rodgers.
Not at the end because Aaron Rodgers was pulling a Brinson and torpedoing him on purpose.
God, I love a good torpedo.
Okay, so I'm just sort of half kidding, but I do like Dan Campbell. NFC South.
Well, the LaFleur family is
NFC South,
insulted. by their
obviously,
head
the
coach.
answer is Matt Rule. Actually, NFC South is tough. Oh my God, Matt Rule's the longest tenured head coach in the NFC South.
That is nuts.
I mean, both Todd Bowles and Dennis Allen have coached previously.
I'm taking Dennis Allen. I think. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm Todd Bowles or Dennis Allen.
Oh my God, who is? There's no coach. I think you go coachless. You let Brady coach the
Brady's
team.
a coach. Yeah,
Brady's the coach, player
That's
coach.
it, too. It's like, would it be like if Brady was like calling offensive plays for the Dolphins against Belichick in Week 1? Like, there would be somebody who would defend like his freedom to do that. Like,
Well, the thing
he's
is,
earned it.
Todd Bowles and Dennis Allen are both defensive guys, so you make them co-defense coordinators and let Brady coach the offense.
No, then what you do is you trade one of the NFC West guys so that we don't pick to the NFC South.
Yeah, the NFC West is tough.
I think the answer is McVay at this point.
I'm taking Shanahan. And I'm taking Shanahan because McVay does not care about timeouts and just burns through them like a crazy person.
And he wins Super Bowls by doing it.
Shanahan's not great on like the fourth down stuff either.
What about Pete Carroll? He's been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's right.
Actually, he's been to 3 Super Bowls.
Seahawks don't even want Pete Carroll.
Breech wants him.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
No
I'm
one
going
Cliff Kingsbury.
I'm going Shanahan too.
All right, that's enough.
Real quick, while you guys started that question, I was looking up to see what's the earliest to, obviously could week 1 turn into a Super Bowl preview? The earliest 2 Super Bowl teams have ever faced off in a season is week 2. So there's never been a week 1 game that ended up being a preview of the Super Bowl. Happened 1985. Bears Patriots played in week 2, played in the Super Bowl. 1993.
You actually found the answer to that. That was great. How'd you do that?
Who knows?
Because I have a list of all the games that have been Super Bowl rematches, and then I just went to one of the team schedules. And then Cowboys Bills played in week 2 in 1993. But there's never been.
Is your full name Jonathan or is it just John?
Just John.
That
JJ. Just John.
That's a made up name. That's why he doesn't have a full name.
What's your full name? John.
But I spell it Jaahn. Jan.
John Doe Breech.
All right. That'll do it for the mailbag, or the final preseason.
I had to answer it because it was the final mailbag.
Yeah,
we got to get our answer.
Fair enough.
It's just the mailbag noise, but whatever.
Mailbag.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure and check out tomorrow's show on the future awards markets the bets that we make, and of course,
mailbag.
Thursday is football.
We also have a Brady Quinn podcast in there too. Don't forget that, the return of the Brady Quinn football show.
Did we schedule that? Did we schedule the time on that?
I'll hit you up.
Okay. Because I got a thing in the morning I got to deal with.
Ghibli.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For Wilson, for Breech, I'm Brinson. We will see you guys later.